Michigan Wolverines were 7-4 and headed to their biggest rival and the number 2 team in the country, the Ohio State Buckeyes, where they shocked the nation as the unranked Wolverines upset Ohio State 13-10, finishing 7-5 and bringing themselves to the ReliaQuest Bowl against another blue blood in Alabama, another team with, well, perhaps not the season they were hoping for, but a 9-3 run. Today, 2 blue bloods of college football face off against one another at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida for the ReliaQuest Bowl. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on WCBN. Alongside Zach Linder and Jonas Tomkin, I'm Owen Crain. I've said it twice already. Blue bloods of college football. This is the second time these 2 teams have met in 2024. We started the year at the Rose Bowl as the Wolverines beat the Crimson Tide in overtime, and now a chance to do it again. Jonas, few members of Michigan's offense off the field tonight, transferring, heading to the NFL, injured. 3 big names specifically missing tonight from the Wolverines: Colston Loveland, Donovan Edwards, and Kalel Mullings. How do the Wolverines get it done without their big 3 tonight?
I mean, it's definitely going to be a challenge for these Wolverines. Alabama obviously hasn't had the season that they might have wanted to. New head coach Kalen DeBoer has done a good job with this team, but still 9-3 on the season, looking for their 10th win of the season. And the Wolverines are going to have to play to their strengths. Again, their big running backs, big receivers, not going to be in it. For replacing Colston Loveland, we're going to have Marlon Klein out of Cologne, Germany, but he's actually played more snaps than Loveland this season, so he's definitely got a couple injuries in the fall limited his play, but he could be Michigan's next lead running back. So if Jordan Marshall can have a big game and Michigan can pound that run game, which has been their strong point this season, they'll definitely have a chance against this strong Alabama team who doesn't seem to be sitting any players for this bowl game.
No, this is a nearly full-strength Alabama against a partially weakened Michigan. Linder, let's turn to Alabama. The season, perhaps not what they hoped. Of course, that Iron Bowl loss, 3-24 to Oklahoma, really ended their hopes of the college football playoff. But this is a team that was just on the cusp. What do you expect from the Bama offense today?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Bama offense that's been a bit inconsistent throughout the year. We saw, obviously, you mentioned that Oklahoma game, scored just 3 points, yet still their quarterback, Jalen Milroe, who is playing in this game, expected to be the 3rd quarterback to be drafted in the 2025 NFL draft. So the offense has a lot of potential. We know that Michigan pass defense has been suspect at times, so I think Alabama has to just go a little pass heavy. One of the big reasons Michigan beat Ohio State was that Michigan's defensive front is its strength, and Ohio State basically ran the ball right into Michigan's strength. That allowed Michigan to win that game. Alabama can't make that same mistake. They got to throw the ball and play to Michigan's weakness as much as anything else.
And you have to think Coach DeBoer and the whole Alabama staff have watched tape from that game. They know what the Buckeyes did wrong, and they know the holes in this Michigan team right now. What would be your game plan if you're Bama?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I said, obviously you want to have a balanced offensive attack, but I really see it as more of a passing first mentality. This is an Alabama team that's averaging 182 rushing yards per game. They average 240 yards through the air. And again, Jalen Milroe with this passing offense have had a solid season for the most part. I mean, the one game that really stands out is the Oklahoma game. You saw them struggle a bit against Tennessee, one of the top defenses in college football. But I think that's where you start, kind of keep doing what they've been doing. Because again, on paper, they're the favorite. So they should be confident going into this matchup.
And then, Jonas, let's flip back to Michigan before we get started with kickoff. The Wolverines know what works. You beat the number 2 team in the country 13-10 on the ground. Michigan missing a few players, like we said. Did they stick to the game plan? Did they make adjustments? What are you thinking?
Well, obviously, Michigan's tight end coach for the year Steve Kasula is going to be the play caller tonight, first time of the season. So we'll have to see if Michigan's offensive scheme changes a bit because, like we said earlier, their top 2 receivers, their top 2 running backs are gone for this game. And with a new play caller, we don't really know what we're going to see in terms of Michigan's play scheme. But back to their run defense is what's been strongest. They're one of 8 teams to allow less than 100 yards per game on the ground this season. So like Linder said, Alabama is going to have to do that pass heaviness, and we'll see how Michigan does on offense with their new play caller.
The Wolverines have won the toss. They elect to defer to the Crimson Tide. So Alabama will start the ball here in Tampa Bay. A full lower bowl and probably a half full upper deck on each end of Raymond James Stadium here in Tampa. Both teams return to their respective sidelines. We're moments away from kickoff. Gentlemen, any final thoughts before we're underway?
Yeah, I mean, on paper, Alabama's the better team here, but we were saying the same thing going into Michigan's game against Ohio State. We were also saying the same thing in Alabama's game against Oklahoma. So, yeah, Michigan's got a chance here, even if it doesn't look like they match up as well.
Yeah, and if Michigan does win today, it would be their 3rd win against a top 12 team this season. Just 7-5 on the season, but it seems like they've come up big against some of these tough opponents, beating number 11 ranked USC towards the beginning of the season, and then obviously just less than a month ago that win against Ohio State.
Here's Zavada to kick off, and we are underway in Florida. The kick will sail out on the left-hand side, and there's a flag just short of the end zone. Zavada pulled it a bit to the left. We'll have a penalty on the Wolverines to start off the game.
Yeah, the wind, it looks like Michigan was kicking into the wind a bit, so I wonder if Zavada just underestimated the distance that he needed, because that ball went out right around the 1-yard line.
First and 10, Alabama at the 35.
Yeah, Dominic Zavada was the most accurate kicker in the Big Ten in terms of field goals, 17 for 18 on the season, 94.4% conversion rate, and has made 3 in 3 games 50-yard field goals straight.
Alabama to start with the ball from their own 35-yard line. First and 10. Milroe in the shotgun, takes the snap, shuffles back, looks right-hand side, and connects with the receiver. Quick, complete pass. Caught by Miller.
Yeah, it doesn't get them a lot, but at the same time, I think Bama's going to try to play kind of this dink-and-dunk offense, keep moving the ball, and it works right there to at least get a few yards.
Gain of 3. Empty backfield now. Milroe takes the snap. Big pass and a first down. Bernard makes the grab just short of the 50. Brought down shortly after. A first and more for the Crimson Tide. Hurry up offense from the Crimson Tide. Play action. Milroe holds on to the ball, fakes the handoff, runs straight up the gut and quickly into traffic. No gain on the play. Brought down by Ernest Hausman.
Yeah, Alabama throws 2 straight times, looking for the run right there, a read option, but nothing doing.
Second and 10 now from the Crimson Tide's 49-yard line. Milroe sitting in the shotgun. He'll take the quick snap, quick handoff. Ball carrier blasted to the gut. Jam Miller had the ball and is quickly brought down. Gain of 3 yards to bring up 3rd and 7.
First 3rd down here for Alabama. We'll see how they're able to face off against this Michigan defense, who has given up some easy passes there, but the 2 times Alabama's tried to run, not too successful.
Big stop here, an opportunity to keep the Crimson Tide out of field goal territory. Milroe with receivers on each end of the line. Back in the shotgun, Miller the back. Quick snap to Milroe, he'll shuffle back. Time in the pocket, it collapses. He'll hold on to the ball. runs up the gut again, short of the first down. Perhaps a yard or two short. Milroe holds onto the ball as the pocket collapses and doesn't find the first down.
Yeah, I think he's going to be about 3 yards short. If I'm Alabama, I'm going for this here, and it looks like they will. It's a manageable fourth down. It's going to be 4 yards officially, but you're on the Michigan side of the field. You really don't want to be punting here.
4th down and 4. You can hear the crowd noise from the Michigan faithful. 3 receivers stacked left. Milroe back in the shotgun. He'll take the snap. Shuffles back again. The pocket collapses, and he is sacked. Jalen Milroe goes down on the Crimson Tide's first possession, and the Wolverines recover the ball in plus territory.
Yeah, I had said that for Alabama, obviously they had chances in the passing game, but you look, those first couple plays were quick passes because we know this Michigan defensive front is strong, and we saw that first drive. The pass protection was not very good for Alabama, so I think they need to work a bit more on the quick passing game. I think that's going to be their best chance of success.
TJ Guy and Derek Moore teamed up to sack Milroe. Now the Wolverines operating from their own 44. A nice start for the Michigan offense. Davis Warren back on the field, takes the snap, quick handoff. A drive straight up the gut. Marshall, the ball carrier. We haven't seen too much of Jordan Marshall so far this season, but a few changes in the running back department. He'll pick up 3 for 2nd and 7.
Yeah, injuries have limited Marshall's time on the field this season, but Sharon Moore has high hopes for him. Like I said earlier, top 100 recruit out of high school, freshman out of Ohio.
Wolverines line back up, 2nd and 7 from their own 41. Bredesen in motion along the line. Now 1 receiver left, 2 right. Warren in the shotgun with a receiver back. He'll take the snap, hand off. It's Marshall again. This time he'll run straight into traffic. No gain on the play. 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, we know that this Michigan offensive line took a bit of a step back this year versus their performance from a season ago. Obviously, the less experienced running back now with Jordan Marshall. But Michigan's going to have to get the running game going. They just don't have the firepower in the passing game to be one-dimensional.
They'll give him a yard, 3rd and 6 now. Same setup, 1 receiver left, 3 right. Warren in the shotgun. He'll hold on to the ball, runs into traffic, evades a sack, still cutting right-hand side. The pass complete. Wolverines get a 1st down on a complete pass up the right-hand side. Hogan Hansen made the grab. Moves the Wolverines all the way up to their own 30-yard line.
Yeah, LT Overton had his hands on Warren in the backfield, but Warren did a great job of getting out of that tackle, and nice pass there to the Hansen, the freshman.
Some of these first touches of the season for the freshman, an opportunity and a big grab for Hansen. Moves the chains and more. Now the Wolverines from the 30. Quick toss. Here's a flea flicker, and it doesn't work out. Lateral pass will go out of bounds.
Yeah, with rain starting to come down here now, we had a bit pregame, starting to rain again. See how that impacts this Michigan passing offense.
Now the referees will review what happened in the trick play gone wrong.
Yeah, so they ruled it an incomplete forward pass. The question is going to be, was that ball backward? Now, it went out of bounds, but if it was backward, Wolverines would end up losing several yards.
There's an egress of fans in all sections of the stadium as the rain starts to come down hard and heavy. Forecast had a chance of showers, but nothing this hard. So a bit of surprise here, and you can't count on Florida.
Definitely not. And this is the 7th matchup between Michigan and Alabama in their history. Their first time meeting was actually in Tampa, Florida in 1988, in the Hall of Fame Bowl. Michigan won that game with a game-winning touchdown with 48 seconds left on a 4th and 3 play. Demetrius Brown passed it to the left corner of the end zone to John Colasar to give Michigan that win. And they're back in Tampa, Florida today, and we're definitely seeing and feeling this Tampa weather.
Of course, the Hall of Fame Bowl would become the Outback Bowl, which would become the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Of course.
So back where it all began, here in Tampa, Florida. Play still under review, been upgraded to an ESPN media timeout. We're lucky enough to, I would call where we are outside. This is essentially outside, but we are under plenty of cover. And so following the review, the referees have determined that on the trick play, the first pass was a forward pass and the second was a backwards pass when it went out of play. So it's a loss of 14 for the Wolverines. They'll be set back to their own 43-yard line. Keep in mind, they were up right around the 30. So a tough turn for the Wolverines. Brings up 2nd down and 23.
Yeah, that's costly in terms of the chance to at least get 3 points. 30-yard line easily within Dominic Zavada's field goal range. He's made a handful of 50-plus yarders. Now Michigan's going to need to get at least about 5 or 6 yards back to have a realistic chance at getting 3 points.
Yeah, Zavada has actually made, in 3 straight games, 50-plus yard field goals. He hit a 54-yarder against that win against Ohio State, and that ended up being the difference in that game, just a 13-10 score, low scoring, and Michigan's defense was really what did it for the Wolverines then, and they're going to be the ones that are going to have to do it today against Bama.
It truly is incredible thinking back to that Ohio State game in Columbus. You're at home. We saw the Buckeyes in the first round of the playoff. Hard to fathom how they lose that game and only score 10 points, but it happened. The Wolverines finished 7-5, vanquish their rival, and end up here in the ReliaQuest Bowl. 2nd down and 23 as we emerge back from the media timeout. Davis Warren and the crew back on the field for the Wolverines. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Warren sitting with an empty backfield. He walks up to his center, gives some directions. Now the Wolverines bring in Marshall as the back into the shotgun. 2nd and 23 from the Michigan 43. Quick snap, handoff. Marshall evades 1 tackle, picks up more. Straight up the middle, a great drive from Jordan Marshall, the freshman.
Yeah, those are big yards to get into field goal range. I still think this 3rd down play, they're going to have 16 yards to go. I think you're just looking to pick up another 4 or 5 yards. Just make it a little easier for their kicker, and in particular avoid another sack or any negative play that takes them out of field goal range entirely.
Movement along the line for the Wolverines, 3rd and 16 from their own 36. Still haven't made up that lost yardage, but creeping up there. Jordan Marshall cuts far right. Here's the quick snap. Pass complete. Big grab and a regain of some territory for the Wolverines. Joe Taylor made the grab and cut to the right-hand side. So he picked up 9, but still 4th and 7 for the Wolverines. And here comes Dominic Zavada. So the trick play will cost Michigan perhaps only 4 points if Zavada can nail this field goal. A 45-yard attempt in some wind and rain here in Tampa. Setter on the right hash marks at exactly the 35. Snap good, hold good. The kick up and through the uprights. Dominic Zavada makes it happen. Put 3 on the board for Michigan.
Yeah, like I said earlier, the most accurate kicker in the Big Ten, and he shows that here, not having too much a problem with this interesting weather here in Tampa, Florida, and gets some points on the board for Michigan, who has struggled to do that this season.
Yeah, that was a good drive overall for Michigan. Really hurt by that one play, which ended up being a 13-yard loss. Otherwise, Michigan early third down, pick it up, and a good recovery, at least after getting into a 2nd and 23 to make it a manageable field goal. And if you're Michigan, I think you're happy with this start. Alabama takes the ball first. You force a stop on 4th down, and then you get 3 points of your own.
I think you are happy, and I'm interested in your guys' thoughts on the trick play. I personally say, Michigan, certainly an underdog in this game, I believe by at least 10 points. If you're a member of the Maize and Blue Faithful, I think you're happy that the Wolverines are throwing the playbook at the Crimson Tide. Alabama just barely missed the playoffs. The Wolverines psyched to be 7-5 after that upset of the Buckeyes. What are your thoughts?
It's definitely an interesting call from Steve Kasula. It's his first game as offensive coordinator, just interim offensive coordinator for this game. But, you definitely want to throw something unusual at Alabama, and Michigan's strength has been the run game, so it might have been trying to throw them off a bit, and I don't mind that early in the game.
Perhaps you can hear it in the background. Fans clamoring for the concourse or any sort of shelter as the rain truly starts to pour. We mentioned that we're under shelter, but rain is creeping in through a 2-inch crack, being blown in by aggressive wind. Not good for us because we have a combination of a lot of equipment and barely any money as a student radio station. We'll figure it out, but boy, oh boy, is it coming down here in Tampa. The Wolverines, though, jump up and down on the field, reminiscent of their jump around at Wisconsin in 2021. They'll let the fans know that they're here for it. They love the weather. The Crimson Tide do as well. You know the saying, a little rain never hurt nobody. How about a big downpour?
Yeah.
So much rain that you can see the beams of light from the stadium's towers. If you'll excuse us for a moment, we'll have to move some equipment around here as rain starts to fly. We'll be operating without some of the technical equipment that we count on for our broadcast for a moment until we get out of this insane weather here. We're all being battered from behind by rain. Members of both Michigan and Alabama's film crews are up here with us. They'll be guarding their cameras. Kickoff from the Wolverines into the end zone. It'll be a touchback for the Crimson Tide. The game continues through a downpour here in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, that kickoff just got into that corner where it went out of bounds on the opening kickoff, a couple yards into the end zone. See the wind kind of swirling around a little bit. I think the wind gust may have been a little more favorable for Zavada there. Saves the Wolverines 10 yards.
First and 10 from the Crimson Tide's 25-yard line. Milroe in the shotgun, fumbles the snap. He's got to dive on it. Michigan might jump on it. Do they have the ball? They say they do. Trouble with the snap. Michigan possession from their own 25-yard line. Jalen Milroe can't hold on to the snap in the downpour. The Wolverines were jumping around for a reason. First and 10 from their own 25.
Yeah, that's a perfect snap right there, right in his hands. And Milroe just misses it. And it's very reminiscent of the final play in the Rose Bowl last year when a botched snap forced Alabama to abort what was going to be an an RPO. Now that one was a bad snap. Here a good snap, but in the rain, Milroe couldn't handle it. And Michigan now with a chance as a double-digit underdog to take a 2-score lead.
Wolverines 1st and 10 from the Alabama 25-yard line. 2 receivers each end of the line. Davis Warren with an empty backfield. He'll wave in a back. It's Benjamin Hall. Here's the snap to Warren. RPO handoff Hall. Hall won't pick up much as he cuts left, quickly brought down. Short gain on the play.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough thing for Michigan. Obviously, they want to get the passing game going. It brings into question, as Jonas was talking about, how creative do you want to get? But Michigan does still have to have that standard running game that they've relied on, not just this year, but the past few years. If they want to be able to move the football consistently throughout the afternoon.
2nd down and 9 for the Wolverines. Ball on the left hash marks. Bit of a trick play here. Quick handoff. Wolverines cut far right. Short pickup on the play.
Looks like it was Frederick Moore there who was handed the ball and did a good job of getting around some of those Alabama defenders, but forced out of bounds with about 6 yards to go. And big 3rd down here for Michigan, as they definitely don't want to settle for another field goal after starting with such great field position.
Yes, it was Frederick Moore. Thank you, Jonas. I lost my spotting board in the disaster of the rain, which has seemingly cleared up as the Wolverines 3rd and 6, knocking on the door of the red zone. Quick snap, Warren, handoff. Running back, doesn't quite make it all the way up. It's Benjamin Hall. He blasted up the gut for a short gain. We'll bring up 4th down and 3 after a gain of 3.
Yeah, and I think kicking it is probably the right choice here, as Michigan will. But I question that play call. I mean, I get Michigan's a run-first team, but I just don't see the odds of picking up 6 yards on the ground there being favorable.
So Dominic Zavada, like you said, on the field, a 30-yard attempt. Spotted at the Alabama 20. Snap good, hold good, kick up and through the uprights, double the score. It's Michigan 6, Alabama 0. 5:52 to go in this first quarter. Here in Tampa, Florida, a tough snap. Jalen Milroe in the rain, can't handle it. He'll fumble. Wolverines pick up the ball at the 25. The offense struggles a bit, but who better than Dominic Zavada to step in and save the day? Michigan 6, Alabama nothing. 5 minutes to go here in this first quarter.
Yeah, rain has slowed down a bit, so Milroe will most likely, both teams are going to be happy about that, as it was coming down very hard for a while here. It's cleared up a bit, but not exactly how we expected this game to start, but Michigan playing to their strengths and their defense getting it done for them, which is, like I said earlier, how they were able to be successful against number 2 Ohio State just about a month ago.
You know, I question a little bit that last drive. We could tell early on Michigan was trying to get the passing game going. We had the one trick play that didn't work out well, but still overall, Davis Warren, 2 passes attempted, both completed 19 yards. That second possession, 3 straight runs, including on 3rd and medium, you pick up 7 yards. Would have liked to have seen Michigan throw the ball at some point, try to get a first down, because I said after the first drive, good start for Michigan. I think that second drive starting in the red zone, not picking up a first down, is a bit more disappointing to have to settle for 3. It was very conservative play calling on that sequence. Obviously, if you're Michigan in the rain, you don't want to turn it over, but I think you got to trust your guys a little more.
Yeah, and against Ohio State, Davis Warren only had about 62 passing yards, and you really want to get Warren going, as Alabama knows that Michigan's strength is their running game, and 3 straight runs isn't going to get it done. And like you said, Linder, no first down in the red zone is pretty disappointing for these Wolverines, but they'll be happy to get some points on the board again and give themselves a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, now you wonder kind of on the Alabama side. You know, I said the first drive, I said they need to work quick passes because the pass protection wasn't holding up. The run game, I know obviously one drive's a small sample size, but that was my initial read. Second drive, they fumbled the first snap. So I think we just kind of have to dial it back a little bit. Their first two offensive plays, quick passes, picked up solid yardage. I think that's where Alabama's got to go back to, get that passing game going, and that should be able to set up the run a little bit more and perhaps also dissuade the Wolverines from bringing so much pressure, and maybe then Alabama has more time for Milroe to sit back and take some deep shots.
Both teams back on the field after the ESPN media timeout. Wolverines set to kick off. Zavada lets it fly once more, peaks at about the 25, and this time will land a yard short. Bama's returner will hold on to the ball, drives up, but is brought down at the 15. Should have let it be a touchback. Alabama will have 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line. Off the return.
Yeah, and I think he was probably trying to make something happen after 2 unsuccessful drives for the Crimson Tide. But we just don't see very often returns out of the end zone net positive, even in college football where you still have the touchback line at the 25, unlike the NFL now.
Jalen Milroe sitting in the shotgun. 3 receivers left, 1 right. 1st and 10 from the Bama 15. Play action, he'll hold on to the ball and is quickly brought down behind the line of scrimmage. More excellent defense from the Wolverines.
Yeah, and you have a read option there. I thought Milroe made the right read in keeping the ball, bouncing it outside. You could see Michigan coming quick inside, but a good job by that Wolverines defense cutting off Milroe on the perimeter, holding him to no gain.
Eno Etta made the tackle. 2nd and 10 for Alabama. 3 receivers left, 1 right. Milroe takes the snap, shuffles back. Time in the pocket, it's picked off. He cut left, through left, excuse me. Interception, Michigan straight to the red zone. Wesley Walker made the grab. Another turnover. The Wolverines will get started from the Bama 15.
Yeah, and already 2 turnovers in this first quarter, just 10 minutes gone, and Michigan's going to have another chance with great field position, and hopefully they can pick up a first down here and get more than just a field goal on the board with 2 straight possessions with great field position.
Wesley Walker gets his time in the spotlight and some turnover buffs on the sideline, and now the Michigan offense looks to get things done. Long pass towards the end zone. Incomplete. Warren shuffled back. Targeted Hogan Hansen in the end zone. Couldn't connect. Brings up 2nd and 10 from the Alabama 16.
Yeah, going back to that interception from Wesley Walker, it wasn't an impressive play. He had to reach out a bit and kind of juggle the ball back to himself, but Milroe took a little too long and just completely missed him as he was looking for his receiver in the flat.
Ball set at the 16. Right-hand side of the field. Short handoff. Jordan Marshall runs into traffic, still evades, and finally tripped up. Short gain, if any, on the play.
Yeah, and I think now if you're Michigan, obviously took the shot on first down, ran it on second, which I'm okay with, but 3rd and 7, they're going to have to trust Davis Warren and throw the ball here because you're just not going to get 7 yards on the ground. And what really it would be a pretty predictable play call knowing how Michigan's been playing.
So Marshall ultimately picked up 3. 3rd down and 7. The Wolverines up 6 here. Davis Warren takes the snap, shuffles back, looks for a receiver. Touchdown, Michigan! The Wolverines add 6 to the score. Frederick Moore makes the grab in the end zone on the left-hand side.
Yeah, that was really well executed. Going to the corner there, threw the ball like I wanted them to, take a shot to the end zone, And a really well-placed throw by Warren, because Frederick Moore was being tightly guarded and kind of almost forced out of bounds. Didn't have much room, but got a foot in bounds.
And boy, Jonas, hasn't it been fun to watch Davis Warren develop over the course of this past year as a quarterback? A gorgeous throw.
Yeah, threw it perfectly to that back shoulder. And Davis Warren, the walk-on for the Michigan Wolverines, a senior here.
A walk-on, diagnosed with cancer coming out of high school, made a recovery, and now in a bowl game as a senior has the Wolverines up 12-0 over Alabama. A chance to add one more. The kick up and through the uprights. The extra point is good. Michigan 13, Alabama nothing. 4:15 to go in the first quarter. Two disastrous turnovers for the Alabama Crimson Tide set the Wolverines up perfectly, and Davis Warren finishes off this drive with a gorgeous pass complete to Frederick Moore on the left-hand side, just inside the pylon for a Michigan touchdown.
Yeah, and I think on the Alabama side, I'm definitely more worried about the second turnover. The first one, heavy rain, Milroe can't handle the snap. It's not really something you can plan around. That second one was kind of what I had been saying Alabama should be doing. Milroe trying to find Rico Scott out in the flat, which seems like a safe pass, but just misses Wesley Walker, who jumps the route.
Wolverines will kick off. Alabama with the smart choice here to let the ball sail into the end zone. It'll be a touchback for the Crimson Tide, 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line.
Yeah, and Michigan already matching their score from that win at Ohio State. 13 points already with just over 10 minutes gone in this first quarter, and a great sign for this offense, although it's been the defense that's really allowed it to happen for them.
Milroe and company back on the field. Ball just left to the left hash marks. Three receivers right-hand side. Here's the snap. Milroe, pocket collapses, and a pass batted down. If it's called a fumble, the Wolverines will have possession. The play will be under review. In the scramble, couldn't get a read on the number. Someone got a hand on the ball. Man, that pocket collapsed fast. If it's a throw, it's incomplete. If it's a pass, it's recovered by Cameron Brandt, and the Wolverines will set up in the red zone once more.
Yeah, and if this call does stand, it's going to be 3 turnovers in this first quarter for the Crimson Tide. Not at all how they wanted to start this game. It looks like it is being called a fumble.
And it's called a fumble. The Wolverines are back in the red zone. Do you believe it? 1st and goal from the Alabama 6-yard line. 3 turnovers in a row from the Crimson Tide. And there it is officially. The play will be under further review, so I got it wrong. Officially ruled as a fumble on the field, and now the officials will review the play. If the fumble stands, Michigan, 1st and goal from the Alabama 6, up 13-0 with 4:08 to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, we have gotten a couple looks. You could tell that the ball was moving forward, but we didn't get a look that showed Milroe's hand clearly. See if we can get anything else. I mean, watching from high up here, naked eye, I thought it was a fumble. And of course, you want the officials to let the play finish, hence the fumble call. But Alabama, they might need to adjust their game plan offensively a little more, because, I mean, now you have that fumble, but you have an interception on a poor read from Milroe, and now that strip sack, it comes down to the lack of pass protection that we saw in the first drive. And so we saw Alabama hasn't run the ball much. When they have, it hasn't really worked. I just don't really know where they go to try to get the ball moving.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been able to establish anything on offense, and Michigan has not been afraid to bring the pressure, and it really has paid off so far with the 2 turnovers already and maybe a 3rd one right now. And that Michigan defensive line, which has been their strength all season, third in the nation.
Headset is off and the ruling stands. It's a first down for the Wolverines. A fumble from Milroe.
First and goal, Michigan at the 6.
So the Wolverines firing in all cylinders, and doing everything right. First and goal from the Alabama 6. Wolverine offense back out on the field. Warren in the pistol. Looks like Benjamin Hall is the back. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Morgan in motion. Quick handoff to the back. Drives right up the gut. Short gain on the play. Benjamin Hall will pick up perhaps a single yard. Brings up 2nd and goal from the 5.
Yeah, this running game has been a struggle for Michigan. And given where they are, I'm thinking more of an RPO play fake here rather than trying to push across just to maybe get 2 more yards and make it a 3rd down again.
Wolverines with a stacked line. Quick snap. Alex Orji's on the field. He'll take the snap, cuts right, picks up a few extra before he's finally forced out. Orji still getting touches and, of course, played a big role in the win over Ohio State. Brought in for his run capabilities. He'll pick up 3 yards for 3rd down and 2. Jonas, you like that play call?
I like bringing in Orji. I think it gives Bama a different look. And Davis Warren, obviously not known for his legs, but back in the game now on big 3rd down here.
3rd and 2. Warren brings in Ben Hall. Now Warren in the shotgun, some movement along the line. Quick snap, Warren shuffles back. It'll be a pass play. Instead, he'll hold on to the ball, runs straight into traffic, and is brought down. No gain. Behind the line of scrimmage, they'll rule it as a sack and a loss of 1. So 4th and 3. Do you go for it here?
Yeah, I mean, Michigan's going to kick, and normally I like being aggressive by the goal line, but their offense just has not shown the consistency to trust them to pick it up.
So Dominic Zavana steps out onto the field, a 21-yard attempt, ball to be spotted at the 11. Wolverines already up 13-0 to add 3. Here's the kick up and through the uprights. Michigan 16, Alabama nothing. 2:04 to go in the first quarter. I said earlier that Michigan's been firing in all cylinders, but maybe it's that the Alabama team bus broke down. 3 turnovers in 3 possessions. The Wolverines up 16-0 here in the first quarter.
Yeah, the only thing is that for Alabama, given the 3 straight turnovers, I think they have to be pretty happy only being down 16-0, because if they can clean things up, they're still very much in position to come back here. Obviously, that is a big if, but Michigan has missed out on an opportunity to take a much more commanding lead.
Yeah, starting on the 6-yard line, the Wolverines won't be too happy for settling with a field goal, but again, putting points on the board. And
here's the kick. Cameron Howard set to return. Kickoff sails into the end zone. Lands at just a yard inside of the Alabama end zone, but Howard makes the right call this time and opts not to return the football. A touchback for the Crimson Tide. Alabama will start 1st and 10 from their 25-yard line.
yeah, and as the sun comes out, Alabama's going to need to establish something on offense. Those quick passes worked on that first drive, but really haven't been able to get anything done since then.
2:04 to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 from the Bama 25. Bring back Milroe. He'll hold on to the ball, runs into traffic, evades 1 tackle, and picks up 8 yards. It was a high snap. So Bama ditches the play. Milroe on the run, up the gut, and picks up 8, 2nd down and 2.
Yeah, Jayshawn Barham had his hands on Milroe, but unable to take him down, and Milroe showing that athleticism.
Ball on the left hash marks, 3 receivers stacked right, quick handoff. The ball carrier seems like he slipped. He cut to the left-hand side. Kind of fell there, might have been brought down.
Yeah, that was Jam Miller, I think. Perhaps the wet grass got him.
No gain, brings up 3rd and 3, but the Crimson Tide may pick up the first down. They'll move the chains. A quick handoff to Jam Miller. My apologies, wasn't ready for the snap there. Picks up the yard needed, and it's a first down for the Crimson Tide, the first down they've had in the past 4 possessions. First down and 10. 2 receivers left, 2 right, ball on the left hash marks. Here's the snap to Milroe. Makes a complete pass to Ryan Williams on the left-hand side, who immediately falls. 2 slips within 4 snaps.
Yeah, that's a problem Alabama's got to figure out, because that screen pass has the potential to get him 5 or 6 yards and get a good result after Jalen Milroe is under pressure. Instead, they lose a yard and behind the sticks once again.
Yeah, so he slipped a yard behind the line of scrimmage. And now Alabama with 2nd and 11 from their own 34. Here's the snap. Milroe shuffles back, tries to go straight up the middle, and is again brought down at the line of scrimmage. Not sure what the play call was there, but it certainly didn't work, and time will expire at the end of the first quarter. Our score, Michigan 16, Alabama 0.
Yeah, the Wolverines are already putting more points on the board than they did against number 2 Ohio State just about a month ago, and Wolverines are going to be very happy with how they started this game. But like Linder said, Alabama has struggled very mightily in these first 4 drives. That turnover on downs on the first drive, and then 3 straight turnovers, but only down 2 scores, and Michigan hasn't fully capitalized on that good field position and on those turnovers. So Crimson Tide still well in this game.
That is a good point. This, with 2 two-point conversions, this is a 2-score game still. And so while it feels like it's been all Michigan, if the Crimson Tide can take the 3-minute media timeout / mini intermission here and get a full reset, perhaps they can make some adjustments. We haven't seen too much of the rush from Alabama, and when they have, it seems like it's been on either a tough snap or a play that was just reset at the last minute. Milroe, one of the top rushers with the Bama offense. He averages 4.7 yards a carry. He's tried it 152 times for 719 yards so far this season. And you have to wonder if the Crimson Tide will change up their offensive game plan. Linder?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to me, you have Jalen Milroe, his mobility being one of his big features. So it has been surprising that hasn't worked, but given that nothing else really has worked either, I don't think they can abandon that. So I think if you're Alabama, you're still in this game. It's partially been unsuccessful schematically, but it's also been a handful of mistakes. And so I think Alabama, for now, given that they haven't found anything that is working, just keep trying things and lean on their defense to keep them in this game until the offense figures things out.
We'll say hello to all of you at home for the first time on our broadcaster cam. Michigan up 16-0 after the first quarter. We're all elated here, Jonas and I, because Michigan's winning, and Linder because there have been plenty of reviews. Just kidding.
The only thing I will say, we've had 2 reviews, but we have not gotten good enough replay angles on the video board here.
I know. The replay angles have been they've been tough, hard for our analysis.
Definitely, and Alabama with -2 total yards in that first quarter and really struggling, 13 passing yards and -15 rushing yards, have really struggled in that first quarter, and they're going to want to turn things around here in the second quarter. Still has possession right now.
And so, depending on how this game goes, if Michigan wins, we're going to have the narrative of Alabama lost it here in the first quarter. If Alabama comes back, it's going to be that Michigan couldn't convert on 3 beautiful turnovers, anything more than a field goal except for that one gorgeous pass we saw from the Wolverines. We'll get back to action here, say goodbye to our broadcasting cam. Second quarter set to start off. The Crimson Tide set up for 3rd down and 11. The Wolverine defense has held strong so far. We'll see if it can continue to do so. Alabama from their own 34-yard line. Ball on the left hash marks, 3 receivers right. Flags fly on the snap. The Bama offense already knows what it is. False start. They'll step back 5 yards. Ryan Williams made a jump a little too early. So Alabama charged a 5-yard penalty, brings up 3rd down and 16. Milroe in the shotgun, 3 receivers stacked right. He'll take the snap, shuffles back, holds on to the ball, and slides to evade a tackle. Brings up 4th down and 16. Another scramble as the pocket collapses. The Wolverines are encapsulating Milroe before he can get anything done. And he'll actually pick up a yard. 4th and 15. Alabama forced to punt off. Samaj Morgan deep for the Wolverines. He's sitting at the left hash marks, around the 20. Here's the punt, up and away. Fair catch called by Morgan in between the 19 and 20-yard line. The Wolverines get the ball back once more, this time finally in their own territory. And now comes the question, can they move the ball down the field?
Yeah, I mean, we saw their first drive was the only drive where they started. Even then, they got good field position. I think they still started on the Alabama side after a 4th down stop.
I think they did.
Yeah, they did.
So this is their first time in 5 possessions on their own side of the field. So again, they struggled taking advantage of those short fields. Question now is, on a long field, what can they do?
2 receivers left, 1 right. Warren flanked by backs. Bredesen in motion along the line. 1st down from the 19. It was Orji in the saddle. He'll make a quick handoff. Ball carrier straight up the gut in a short gain. It was Jordan Marshall who carried the ball, and he'll pick up 5. 2nd down and 5 for the Wolverines from the 25.
Yeah, with Orji in there, Alabama's defense is getting a different look, but you definitely want Davis Warren to get settled into this game, and he's back in there now.
So Warren returns to the saddle. He's sitting in the shotgun. 1 receiver left, 2 right. 2nd and 5 from the 25. 13:30 to go here in the second quarter. Here's the snap. Warren shuffles back, looks right-hand side. Samaj Morgan makes the grab and picks up a few. He made a dive after he was under pressure. Looks like they'll give him 2. Brings up 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, nice move there from Morgan after the check down to him, and able to get around that first tackle and get positive yardage and give Michigan a chance to convert this 3rd down.
Yeah, and Davis Warren, they're able to find his receiver out in the flat facing pressure, get a positive gain. Again, it's not a flashy play, but getting something out of nothing is something that Alabama hasn't been able to do so far in this game. So big play there to make it 3rd and short.
Clock was stopped because of an Alabama injury. Now back to play. Davis Warren sitting in the shotgun, calls in Morgan to the line. 2 receivers far left. Here's the snap, quick handoff. Jordan Marshall straight up the gut. And he cuts left. No gain on the play. The Wolverines will be forced to punt.
Looks like he actually did get to the first down marker.
They're going to give him forward progress right at the 30-yard line.
This is why we need a three-man crew to make up for my deficiencies here.
Exactly.
So the Wolverines with the first down. Thank you, guys. Ball on the Michigan 30. And look who's back in the game for the Wolverines, Alex Orji, sitting in the pistol. Morgan in motion along the line. Orji takes the snap and the play's blown dead as flags fly. He'll take a bit of a late hit. Can hear some complaints from the Michigan faithful. The officials will confer. Here's the call. Wolverines charged with a false start. Will move the ball back to the Michigan 25.
Yeah, Michigan just rushing there too much. Team never got set. So one false start against each team, serving as the only penalty so far in this contest.
Wolverines with 1st and 15, up by 16 points against Alabama. Under 12 to go here in the second quarter. Quick handoff. Should note Davis Warren back in. Handoff to Jordan Marshall, who runs into traffic, cuts right and picks up a few yards, makes up the penalty and more.
Yeah, good job there from Marshall. Initially just ran into a wall down the middle and kind of got bounced out to the right, but went with that momentum and was able to pick up 7 yards there on that run. And promising start here for Jordan Marshall, the freshman.
Brings up 2nd down and 8 for the Wolverines from their own 32-yard line. Empty backfield for Davis Warren. He'll wave in Marshall. 3 receivers left, 1 right. Ball on the right hash marks and some motion along the line. Here's the snap. Warren gonna pass, looks right-hand side, complete to Frederick Moore. First down, Michigan. Moore brought down at the Michigan 43.
Nice quick pass there from Davis Warren, able to find Frederick Moore. A big hit there at the end from Alabama's Bray Hubbard, but able to get the first down. And Michigan's starting to settle into this drive and doing a good job starting from their own territory.
And you know what? Michigan takes a quarter to settle in, but they get 3 red zone turnovers to assist them. 16-0 our score, under 11 to go in the second quarter. Wolverines with 1st and 10 from their own 41. Warren sitting in the pistol, takes the snap, handoff. Marshall again, straight up the gut and into traffic. He'll pick up a little bit of forward progress, but not much.
Yeah, but again, obviously they only get, I think they're going to give him 2 yards there. But we're seeing a bit more of a balanced attack here. They'll make it 3 officially on that play. But much better balance so far on this drive than we've seen in any of the Wolverines' first 4 possessions.
2nd and 7 from the Michigan 44. 10 minutes on the clock. Warren back in the pistol. 3 receivers on the left-hand side, none on the right. Play action. Warren fakes the handoff, holds onto the ball. He's under pressure. Forced to curl out right-hand side and will throw the ball away into the Michigan sideline.
Yeah, Davis Warren looking comfortable in that backfield, was under a lot of pressure there and was moved pretty far backwards, but a good job, able to avoid the Alabama defensive lineman and just does the safe play and throws it away and still gives Michigan a chance to convert this 3rd down.
Yeah, I like that from Warren. Very mobile and agile. Now, like you said, the Wolverines still in it here. 3rd and 7 from their 44. 3 receivers left, 1 right. Motion along the line, snap to Warren, handoff quickly to Ben Hall. He runs straight into traffic. No gain, and there is a flag on the play.
Yeah, it makes me think that's going to be something with a formation.
There you go, Linder. Illegal formation called on Michigan. The penalties declined by Alabama. It brings up 4th down. Now, this is just an odd note from me. Does it sound to you guys like the PA announcer is saying Benjamin Hill, or is that just me?
I haven't really thought about it, but you could be right there, Owen.
Well, next time he carries the ball, keep an eye out. I need to know if I'm going crazy or not. Anyways, back down to the field. 4th down for the Wolverines and 7 from the 44. Ryan Williams is deep for Bama. The kick is up and will land around the 15. Fair catch not called, and Williams is trucked.
Yeah, perplexing decision there for Williams to not fair catch it, and he's lucky he didn't get stripped there and potentially cause a 4th turnover, as that was Bryson Kuzdal coming in on the tackle.
Yeah, and before Michigan punted that away, they had a 3rd and 7 and decided to just run it out of the shotgun. A very, very conservative play call. Interesting because Davis Warren seems to have settled in a little bit into this game, was looking confident out there, and Michigan coaches not showing too much faith in their quarterback calling that run on 3rd and 7.
Yeah, and I agree, because I think one of the big things is when Davis Warren was starting the first 3 games, his big issue was interceptions, and that's why he eventually got benched in favor of Alex Orji. When he came back in against Michigan State, those final 5 games, much better in the turnover department. And so to me, if he's able to hold on to the ball, that makes it a much lower risk play to throw the ball. And if you're Michigan, you're up 16-0, but you also got another 39 minutes of this game, they're going to have to take some chances. I said it a couple of those earlier drives, running on 3rd down situations that really call for a throw. Would like to see them be a little bit more aggressive and trust Davis Warren's ability to protect the football.
Yeah, and Alabama, who averages 34 points per game this season, still hasn't gotten points on the board so far, but they're going to get settled into this game soon, and really a conservative play call when you're just up 2 possessions.
Yeah, so we'll see now for Alabama. Again, finally moved the ball a little bit. Got 1 first down that last drive. Then had to punt it again. And Alabama, Michigan, we've seen flashes, just not consistency on the offensive side. Alabama, we really haven't seen anything. And so it's kind of, as I said, it's not like really they can switch the game plan, because it almost feels like they've tried everything and nothing's working.
Well, we'll get another look at the Alabama offense momentarily. Final 15 seconds or so on the ESPN TV timeout. Alabama starting from their own 16-yard line. 1st down and 10, 9:14 to go in the 2nd quarter. Milroe back out on the field in the shotgun. Receivers stacked on each end of the line. He'll clap his hands, fields the snap, makes a complete pass, and receiver quickly brought down. It was Josh Cuevas who made the grab and picks up 5 yards. Milroe back in the shotgun. Quick snap, handoff now. And a blast up the left-hand side. Richard Young will carry the ball and falls just short of moving the chains.
Yeah, Young, just 25 rushes on the season, but 140 yards, averaging 5.6 yards per rush.
3rd and 1, quick snap again. Hurry up offense from Alabama. The ball carrier with a little bit of a tush push at the end will pick up the 1st down straight into the gut. It was Young again.
Yeah, I think Bama's finally found what's working is tempo.
Keeping these snaps fast. Here's another on 1st and 10. Milroe, though, is sacked. Brought down by Derek Moore. The pocket collapsed. Wipe out all those gains. Bama's back to the 15.
Yeah, and after a great first set of downs for Alabama, all that progress is erased after Derek Moore was able to get to Milroe in a matter of seconds, just quickly putting a lot of pressure on the Bama quarterback.
Ball's actually spotted at the Alabama 18-yard line. Brings up 2nd down and 19 for the Crimson Tide. A lot of movement along the line, and the referees will blow the play dead. Seems that a timeout was called. Wolverines will take a timeout. Chance to gather up and consult on what to do next. 2nd down and 18 the play. Alabama on their own 19-yard line. What are the Wolverines discussing on the sideline here?
I mean, I think the sack obviously takes away the tempo that Alabama was trying to work with. So that had to just be that there was some mismatch in the personnel alignment that Sherrone Moore didn't like on the sideline and decided to talk over, regroup. And if you're Michigan, I think the one enemy is that quick pace, because that's what we saw hints of it earlier on. But we really started seeing it this drive, and that had been working until that last play when the pass protection broke down and Derek Moore got a quick sack.
Yeah, good job there from Michigan, bringing the pressure and not giving Milroe any time to settle himself and get any looks downfield. And it's a huge sack to slow this Bama offense down after that good first set of downs, able to get that first down, but still behind their 20-yard line and a lot of ground to cover here if they're going to want to get their first points on the board in this game.
The timeout's been upgraded to a TV timeout, so just under 2 minutes until we get back to action. Hard to chart a better path for the Wolverines in the first 23 minutes or so here in Tampa. Of course, the second time these two teams have met this year, the other the 1st of January in the Rose Bowl. So the Wolverines took in overtime to head to the national championship, and we all know how things went from there. A different matchup outside of the college football playoffs. The Wolverines written out of it since mid-October at the latest. Alabama on the cusp until the Iron Bowl. So two teams supposed to be at different levels. Alabama finishing the season as a top 20 team, down 16-0 to the Wolverines with 7:39 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, and of course, Alabama fans spent that final week just campaigning about why they belong in the playoff. And if SMU had beaten Clemson in the ACC championship game, Alabama's getting in. Of course, the controversy was going to be Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina, all stuck behind them. Instead, that upset, SMU stayed ahead of Alabama. And of course, then renewed discussions after the first round of games, which were all blowouts. But Alabama not really helping its own cause right now.
No, but Linder, don't forget, the SEC is always undefeated in imaginary matchups.
Yeah, unfortunately for them right now, we are looking at a real game.
16-0. Our score, Wolverines up, 7:39 to go in the second quarter. It's 2nd and 18 after a big sack. Bama with the ball on their own 19-yard line. They'll bring their offense back out on the field. Milroe sitting in the shotgun, 3 receivers left, 2 right. 2 on each end. He'll make a short pass, incomplete after he was covered extremely well under pressure. And once again, Alabama will be forced to punt. The Michigan defense. Oh, excuse me, it was 2nd down. Oh. Thank you, Linder, for that notice. It was silent. So an incomplete pass brings up 3rd down and 18. I'll correct myself, my apologies. One more go at it for Milroe. He's sitting in the shotgun, takes the snap, shuffles back, looks deep downfield, open receiver, but it's overthrown. Ryan Williams was open at the 50. Milroe overthrew the ball, and now the Alabama offense will be forced to punt.
Yeah, and just when Alabama looked like they were starting to get some tempo, they're going to have to give the ball back to these Wolverines, still without any points on the board. It'll be James Burnick out of Victoria, Australia, punting it for the Crimson Tide.
Here's the punt. Peaks at about the Alabama 45. Samaj Morgan will receive and calls for a fair catch. Brings the ball in at about the 27 or 28. So Michigan back with possession. The defense doing everything right and a little bit of help from the errors of the Alabama offense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see now with the Michigan offense arguably having its best drive their last time on the field, yet their first drive that didn't end in points.
Yeah.
How things play out here, will they lean on the passing game more, which I think we've been saying all game they need to.
Well, that's certainly the juxtaposition of this game. Officials will blow the play dead as the Wolverines were just getting set up. Alabama charged with their first timeout of the half. And yes, like you're saying, it's these Alabama errors that are really costing them. Something that's hard to take account for in the Alabama game plan. You're counting on a Michigan offense that struggles to move downfield. You know, keep in mind again, Michigan is missing 3 of its best players. Colston Loveland, Donovan Edwards, and Kalel Mullings. All out today. And yet the Wolverines hold a 16-0 lead with 7:22 to go in the second quarter. They've got possession just shy of their own 30.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is for Michigan, and they've lost talent for this game on both sides of the ball, but I think we thought it would be felt a little more on the offensive side, and to an extent it has been, but the defense, especially up front, has been so strong. And what's interesting is that that's why they've defended the run so much better than the pass throughout the year. I don't think we've seen a pass rush like Michigan's got right now at any other point in this season. And now if you're Alabama, I mean, we talk about the mistakes on the offensive side, but the first play of the drive here defensively, and they can't line up right, and they have to take a timeout. The Kalen DeBoer, he's still got his team in the game. The defense has played well enough, but he's got to be frustrated with what he's seen.
Definitely, and it seems like every time Jalen Milroe drops back to pass, the pocket just collapses on him, and he either has to run away and scramble or just make a tough pass, and it's really not worked out at all for the Crimson Tide.
His offensive line is not doing what he had hoped. The Wolverines truly all over the pocket today. This defense, well, they've held strong. Forced a few turnovers, a few caused by Alabama themselves. Maybe not. You shaking your head at that, Linder? You think it's truly just Alabama error?
I was not shaking my head at
Oh.
you. I was adjusting my position in this seat.
I'm sorry. Okay.
In the seat that's still quite wet.
I know, everything is wet. It is, the humidity is over 90% today. And let me just say, I'm not going to complain about the temperature. We are in a gorgeous and balmy 75 degrees. The sun is now out, but boy, oh boy, is it damp. And you add in that rain. A very, very damp and heavy day, but we'll take it. Nothing better than celebrating the original purpose of these bowl games. Get teams from the north to come on down to the south, bring in some tourists, have some fun, and play some non-traditional matchups. Michigan up 16-0 over Alabama. The Michigan offense steps out onto the field. 1st and 10 from the Wolverine 29-yard line. 7:22 to go in the second quarter. It's been tricky for the Alabama offense, not so much for Michigan. A few gifted turnovers. The offense seemingly starting to ramp up. Davis Warren sitting in the shotgun, receivers stacked on each end of the line. Now some motion along the line, quick handoff. Jordan Marshall runs straight up the middle. Will grab a few with forward progress before he's pushed all the way back past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they'll give him 3 yards. But again, the issue with this Michigan rushing offense, until the last drive, it kind of looked like that type of 3-yard run was the ceiling. Michigan obviously hoping that's more the floor, and then they can push it into some 6-7 yard gains.
2nd and 7 from the Michigan 32, 6:50 on the clock. Warren claps his hands once. Bredesen in motion along the line. Now a pass out right-hand side. Caught Samaj Morgan, evades a tackle. and pushed out of bounds. Gain of 1 or 2.
Yeah, I like that play call for Davis Warren. Obviously, just giving him an easy pass there to find Samaj Morgan on the screen pass, but looks like Morgan slipped a little bit and got tripped up and only able to get a couple yards, but third down here, and Wolverines are going to want to convert.
They'll officially give him 1. So 3rd down and 6 from Michigan's 33, 6:15 to go in the quarter. 4 receivers stacked on the left-hand side. Warren with an empty backfield. He's going to pass. Quick pass, left-hand side, incomplete or a fumble. Should be incomplete. It was a low pass. Receiver couldn't grab onto it. An Alabama defender grabbed the ball, ran it into the end zone. It was Campbell. But just an incomplete pass and brings up 4th down and 6. The Wolverines forced to punt.
Yeah, I don't think that was going to go anywhere, even if he had caught it. So for the first time, Michigan facing a 3-and-out and forced to punt the ball away.
Punt is up, lands on the field at the Alabama 32 and rolls favorably out somewhere between the Alabama 25 and 30. They'll mark it at the 28-yard line. Alabama will start there 1st and 10.
Yeah, and just 2 total yards so far for Alabama on the day, and they're really going to have to step it up in this drive and want to get some kind of rhythm going with this offense and Jalen Milroe.
You want a touchdown before the end of the quarter. Alabama has 5 minutes and 56 seconds to make it happen. 1st and 10 from their own 29. Tight line of scrimmage for the Crimson Tide. Quick snap, Milroe. Handoff and bit of a trick play here. Ball carrier still running. Rico Scott down the sideline. 50, 45, 40 and forced out. Rico Scott evaded multiple tackles and cut right. A big gain from 2 yards to at least 20.
Yeah, Milroe faked the handoff to Jam Miller, and then it was a little bit of an end around there to Rico Scott, and a huge gain there for the Alabama. Exactly what they needed.
Crimson Tide in plus territory, operating from the Michigan 43. Quick snap, Milroe holds onto the ball, cuts right. Here's the pass, and it's complete. He evades multiple tackles. Another 1st down, finally brought down at about the Michigan 27. C.J. Dupree made the grab.
Yeah, then a fumble there, recovered by the lineman Elijah Pritchett.
Yeah.
For Alabama, ends up picking up another extra 7 yards or so.
Yeah, fortunate there for Alabama, but exactly what they needed, as they've really struggled offensively in this first half until this drive.
So in a wild play, finally the ball bounces in the Crimson Tide's direction. Now a quick handoff. Jam Miller cuts right-hand side on 1st down. Picks up 5 yards before he's brought down. Ball now on the Michigan 24-yard line as the Crimson Tide continue to march downfield. They'll officially give him 5 yards, so 2nd down and 5 for Alabama. 2 receivers way left, ball on the right hash marks. Milroe with an empty backfield. He takes the snap, shuffles back, pocket collapses, but he's got a receiver wide open in the red zone. Touchdown, Alabama! A long pass to Robbie Oots. Adds 6 to the score.
Yeah, Robbie Oots just checked into the game for that play and was left wide open in that on that right side of the field, and Milroe having no problem finding him, and Alabama finally putting points on the board in this first half.
Nicholson lined up for the PAT. 16-6 our score with 4:06 to go in the second quarter. Snap good, hold good, the kick up and through the uprights. Michigan 16, Alabama 7. The Crimson Tide are back in it with 4 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, in that last drive, Michigan's pass rush just kind of disappeared. And we saw what happened when Milroe had time. I mean, in the end, it was a completely busted coverage. But again, we knew coming in that Michigan was going to be susceptible in the secondary. Because Milroe didn't have time to find receivers, it really didn't matter until this drive. But Michigan's going to have to figure out ways now defensively to get back to getting into the backfield quickly. Because if Milroe's able to have time, this Alabama offense has a chance to really improve in the second half.
Yeah, and I think that big play there from Rico Scott on the end around really changed things and might have brought the Michigan ego down a little bit as their defense not too confident after that huge play from Rico Scott.
Alabama to kick off. Taylor deep for Michigan. 4:06 to go in the second quarter. Here's the kick. Peaks at about the Michigan 25. Caught by Taylor. At the 10-15, brought down on the right-hand side at about the 18-yard line.
Yeah, the first kickoff Michigan's received today after shutting out Alabama for almost 26 minutes. Caught about the 2-yard line, but ultimately lost about 6 yards by not fair catching it.
So the Wolverines set up in a position that Alabama has to be happy with. Ball on the Michigan 19. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. 4:01 on the clock. Davis Warren in the pistol. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Here's a quick handoff. Ben Hall blasts straight into traffic. He won't pick up much.
Yeah, if I'm Michigan, they get 3 yards. I'm throwing it here. You really don't want to see another 2-3 yard run where then you have to throw it on 3rd down.
So 2nd and 7 from Michigan's 22. 3:30 to go in the second quarter. Empty backfield for Warren. 2 receivers left, 1 right. He'll call in a running back. It's Ben Hall again. Handoff to Hall. He finds a small gap and earns the first down for the Wolverines. Brought down at the 30-yard line on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it looks like Alabama defense was looking for the pass there, and they were a bit caught off guard by that run call. It was a bit of a counter there from Benjamin Hall, and good job from him able to get that first down.
Important, too, for the Wolverine possession. Don't want to give the ball back into the hands of Alabama just yet. 2:50 to go in the second quarter. 1st and 10 from the Michigan 30. Movement along the line. Warren takes the snap in the pistol. Quick handoff. Hall again. Straight up the gut and a very short gain.
Yeah, and I think that last play, maybe the shifting confused Alabama because Warren had been in an empty backfield, brought Hall next to him late. Bama not fooled at all in this most recent play, just a 1-yard pickup.
2nd down and 9 for the Wolverines from their 31. 2:18 to go in the quarter, 15 seconds on the play clock. Warren waves in Hall from an empty backfield once more. 1 receiver left, 3 right. More movement along the Michigan line. Here's the snap to Warren. He shuffles back, throws. Wide open receiver, Frederick Moore. A 1st and more, just shy of plus territory. Moore made the grab on the left-hand side of the field. Wolverines will have the ball spotted at their own 46-yard line. We're officially under 2 minutes to go in the second quarter as the Wolverines keep the momentum running down the field.
Yeah, nice little play action pass there from Davis Warren. Fake the handoff and release it immediately to Frederick Moore on that left side, who was left wide open. And big first down here for the Wolverines, as they would love to get some more points on the board before this first half is over. I mean, it's been all Wolverines basically until that last drive from Bama, and a 9-point lead really isn't what the Wolverines would want to get out of that first half after how dominant they've been.
Yeah.
16-7 our score, like you said. Wolverines have moved up the field pretty well. You don't need a touchdown here. A field goal will satisfy, and the weather is certainly cleared up. We are sunny, plenty of wind, but nothing Dominic Zavada can't operate in.
Yeah, and if you're Michigan here, of course, you're now looking for kind of the 2-for-1. Michigan getting the ball first in the second half. So they'd love to kind of run down these final 2 minutes. But of course, you can't get too conservative. We see it too often in these situations where teams are so focused on running the clock down that then they just run out of time in the red zone.
That's true, but this Michigan team knows how to run a clock down. They love the ground game. And I think they're well aware of the favorable position they've gained, perhaps from actions outside of their control in this first half. I don't think they're looking to waste that opportunity here. Officials reset the clock to 2 minutes. Still a minute to go in the TV timeout.
Yeah, and definitely not. Davis Warren already 59 yards and a touchdown on the day. Getting close to his passing yardage against Ohio State, and he seems pretty comfortable in that pocket. Made a nice throw to Frederick Moore to get that first down earlier on the play-action pass, and seems comfortable and confident in the pocket. And as we've been saying all game, Michigan needs to get their passing game going because the running game, it's worked, but it really hasn't been that efficient. And if you get that passing game going and force the Bama defense to think about it, you really can open this offense up for Michigan.
Yeah, and I think these last 2 minutes, I mean, Michigan's near midfield, so the clock isn't a huge issue, but still, they're going to have to throw the ball. They just don't have time to ground and pound. They really want to be avoiding third downs, pick up first downs where you get the clock stoppage. So they can have some balance here, but I think they need to lean a little more pass heavy, and that's what Alabama should be expecting.
Final few seconds in the media timeout. Michigan set with first down and 10 from their own 46-yard line. 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Here we go. Warren in the pistol. One receiver left, 2 right of the line. He'll take the snap. Quick handoff. Hall again. Straight into traffic. A very short gain.
Yeah, and Zach, you said that Michigan's going to have to pass it, but they go straight into a run from the shotgun, which really hasn't done much for them all game today. And just running down this clock and just a gain of 1 there on that first down play.
Yeah, they're only full huddle right here. This is just way too much time. Going to take about 25 seconds to get this snap off.
2nd and 9 from the 47. 90 seconds to go in the quarter. Movement along the line. It's another handoff, this time to Jordan Marshall. He cut left and is immediately stopped.
Yeah, now Alabama's going to take a timeout on third and long. Alabama wants to get the ball back here.
Looks like the Wolverines need to listen to Coach Linder. 3rd down and 9. Scoreboards getting updated very, very late, which I will blame for the 1 or 2 times I've gotten the down wrong. Like, it just changed to 3rd down. They'll actually mark that as a loss of a yard for Marshall. So 3rd down and 10. No gain and 2 rushing plays for the Wolverines. Minute 22 to go in the second quarter. The ideal outcome here is points. The secondary outcome is wasting enough time where Bama doesn't have time to score anything else.
Yeah, but if you're Michigan here, you can't just run the ball up the middle again and make Alabama use their last 10 out. There's still too much time left. They got to throw it here, pick up a first down, and to your point, in addition to moving them toward field goal range, allows them to take more time off the clock.
3rd and 10, minute 22 to go in the second quarter. Wolverines on their own 46. Warren sitting in the shotgun, 2 receivers on each end of the line. He'll step back. It'll be a passing play. Warren throws right-hand side, complete pass, but short of a first down. It was caught by Peyton O'Leary. He's brought down at the 53. Few yards short of that coveted first down.
So Alabama waits a little bit to take a timeout. Again, a weird situation if you're Michigan on 4th and 3. Minute 7 left. Now Alabama's out of timeouts. And it brings up an interesting situation. I mean, Dominic Savada's out on the field. Again, Michigan's punter Tommy Doman entered the transfer portal, so he's not available. So I would guess Michigan's going to punt it away just because these 4th and shorts, when you don't have a reliable running game, become a lot harder. But at the same time, I just don't love the idea of giving Alabama, who showed they could move the ball when Milroe has timed that last drive, giving them about a minute, even without timeouts. You got to remember the college game, when you get a stoppage after every first down, it's a lot easier to move down the field quickly.
4th down and 3 for the Wolverines. Special teams out on the field, set to punt. 67 seconds to go in the second quarter. Punt will come from Michigan's 38-yard line. Snap good. Punt is up, peaks at about the Alabama 30, and falls in favorable position. Wolverines get a touch on it at the Alabama 3-yard line. An excellent punt. Sets up Alabama. About 97 yards to go to the end zone. 58 seconds remain in the second quarter.
Yeah, that's big. If nothing else, makes it a lot harder for Alabama to try to get any points. And if you're Michigan, going to halftime with a 2-score lead, getting the ball back first in the second half, they'll still feel like they should be up by more, but you can accept that.
Yeah, and after that great drive from Alabama, they're going to want to get back on the field, but not able. Tough field position here.
Alabama 1st and 10 from their 4. 58 seconds to go. Snap to Milroe. It'll be a run play. Hand off to Jam Miller. He runs up the gut and picks up, I'd say, 5 yards or so. They'll give him 7. So 2nd down and 3. Another handoff. Miller once more, stopped just short of the first down line. Straight up the gut, and Alabama out of timeouts. Wasted plenty of time here, and the Wolverines will take a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan now, you get it to 3rd down, they still have one more timeout. So Michigan is now hoping they can get the ball back. It is 3rd and short, but I think Sherrone Moore's mindset is that even if they don't get the stop here, it's still going to be tough for Alabama to score with such little time left and being backed up so far. So the field position plays to Michigan's advantage even on 3rd and 1 here of selling out and hoping that they can get the ball back. I do think if you're Alabama, I would not just run it straight up the middle, because I think that's exactly what Michigan's expecting, and their strength is defending that. I think I'm looking at some type of read option or RPO, take advantage of Milroe's mobility.
Milroe and company back on the field for a 3rd and 1 from their own 13. 37 seconds to go in the second quarter. Milroe in the shotgun. One receiver left, 2 right. He faked the handoff, holds onto the ball, cuts right-hand side, and he's got a lane. 30, 40, 50, into plus territory. Jalen Milroe all the way up the field. Alabama in plus territory. 28 seconds remain in the second quarter, and the Wolverines might be wishing they didn't take that timeout right about now.
Yeah, Linder, and Alabama did exactly what you said, a little read option for Milroe, and Milroe just charging upfield and probably should have gone out of bounds and stopped the clock, but still a great play nonetheless.
Well, we're going to get a stoppage now because an Alabama player was slow to get up. And there's no 10-second runoff because you have the temporary stoppage for a first down that's now extended. The clock will start on the ready for play, but Alabama essentially gets a free timeout here.
Yeah.
But of course, the issue if you're Michigan, I had said, if you give up a 5 or 10 yard play, okay, you don't really regret taking the timeout. because it's going to be so hard for Alabama to score. Now all of a sudden, one more first down, they're in field goal range. You know, I think good play call from Alabama, but Michigan's just got to protect it better. Even if they give up the first down, at least prevent Alabama from getting this far down and having a real chance of scoring.
28 seconds on the clock, 1st and 10 for the Crimson Tide from their own from the Michigan 46. Long pass from Milroe. Open receiver, caught into the red zone. Brought down at the Michigan 6-yard line. Big grab by Jeremy Bernard. Alabama in the red zone with 19 seconds to go in the second quarter. They'll spike the ball to stop the clock. 17 seconds left here in the second. Now second and goal after the spike from the Michigan 6-yard line. Boy, oh boy. Alabama turned on the Jets, blast down the field in 2 plays. Best pass from Milroe we've seen yet today, and a great grab by Bernard.
Yeah, and the big plays have been doing it for Alabama today. It all started with that end around on the previous drive to Rico Scott.
Second and goal from the Michigan 6 for the Crimson Tide. Milroe, empty backfield, claps his hands, takes the snap, looks right-hand side, pass incomplete. A Michigan defender got a hand on it. Brings up 3rd down and 6 after Amir Hall able to get a hand on the pass in the end zone.
Yeah, and I thought he may have had a chance to intercept that. I think just a little too high for him to pick it off, but at least able to deflect it and force an incompletion.
Brings up 3rd down and 6, 13 seconds on the clock here in the second quarter. Of course, our score, Michigan 16, Alabama 7. Milroe in the shotgun, a tight line of scrimmage, takes the snap, shuffles back, pocket collapses, but he gets a pass off, and it's long. He had a receiver open in the end zone on the left-hand side. It was Bernard again. He dove for the ball but couldn't grab it. The long pass sails out, and the Crimson Tide will be forced to settle for a field goal.
Yeah, and the pressure at least forced the errant pass. Michigan would have loved a sack because if they get Milroe to the ground, this half is over, and Alabama gets nothing. Still going to be a disappointing end to the half for Michigan if Alabama is able to convert on this field goal.
Graham Nicholson out to kick a 24-yard field goal with 8 seconds on the clock. Snap good, hold good, kick up and through the uprights. Our score with 4 seconds to go in the second quarter is Michigan 16, Alabama 10. Alabama made quite a few mistakes to start the game, but now Michigan with a few errors of their own. But the Crimson Tide have slipped right back in before the halftime.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to those 2 big plays right there. I mean, it all starts with the 3rd and 1. You know, the read option, I thought, I mean, it's a sensible play call. Michigan's got to be ready for it, but it's hard to stop them on 1 yard. It's a lot easier to keep it to a few yards, and that's what Michigan wasn't able to do. Alabama flips the field, and all of a sudden, it's going to be a 1-score game at halftime. Michigan gets the ball first in the second half. We'll see what adjustments they can make to get the offense going more after they really relied on strong starting field position from takeaways.
Barring a miracle at the end of the half, it'll be 16-10. A low kick will sail out of the end zone. The Wolverines will have a touchback with 4 seconds on the clock, set up on their own 25-yard line. Do you spike the ball here, or do you run some sort of play?
I assume Michigan's just going to kneel it and go into this half happy with that 6-point lead.
They will kneel. Davis Warren takes a knee. Time expires on the clock, and our score at the half, Michigan 16, Alabama 10. What a football game we have here. Perhaps not the best in terms of the mistakes on the field, but an exciting one through the first 30 minutes of play.
Definitely, and it was all Michigan for most of that first half until the Bama's last 2 drives, and just 2 big plays really doing it for the Crimson Tide. And on that initial drive, it was Rico Scott on the end around who ran it for about 50 yards down the field. And then on 3rd and 1, when, like Linder said, Michigan just needed to contain the Crimson Tide with just a little bit of time left and no timeouts for Alabama, Jalen Milroe on the read option was able to take it all the way downfield, and Alabama able to get a field goal just before the half ends. And some interesting decisions from Sharon Moore. A bit conservative on that last drive for Michigan, which he has been criticized for a bit this season. But as he said, last season, Michigan was very conservative too, and it worked for them. But that timeout also on Alabama's drive, when they thought they were going to get a stop, gave Alabama a little bit extra time and allowed them to get that field goal in the end. And Michigan's not going to be too happy with the scoreline, only up by 6, as it seemed like they were dominating that whole first half. But again, coming in as the underdogs initially, you can't complain with a lead.
Now we'll have plenty to discuss when we return. We'll take a quick break for the bands. First the $1 Million Band, and then the Michigan Marching Band will perform. They stopped the music. They might be taking a moment, though, to get set. Here comes the $1 Million Band from Alabama. It's been a fun first half of football. Our score at the half, Michigan 16, Alabama 10. Alongside Zach Linder and Jonas Tomkin, I'm Owen Crain. Zach will have play-by-play in our second half. And Zach, when we divvied up this game, you said you hoped it would be an exciting one. It looks like you'll get it. It's been a fun half. Thanks for listening to the first half of the ReliaQuest Bowl on WCBN. Enjoy the bands at halftime. We'll be back in a few.
28. Get ready for the high energy and Guns N' Roses, Paradise City. Associate Director is Kevin Wilmore. Assistant Directors are Steve Simpson and Mark Hunter. Thank you and roll tide. 1/3 of our world's final surface is desert. But what about other worlds? Our journey concludes on the desert planet Arrakis with music from Jude.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National ReliaQuest Bowl Mass Band's Halftime Show, sponsored and produced by World Strides. Our production features high school students from across the nation. They are joined in the field by more than 400 dancers who are part of the Just for Kids National Performance Team, under the direction of Steve and Cindy Cloud. Our 2024 production of The Magic of ABBA opens with a medley of Dancing Queen and Knowing Me, Knowing You.
Welcome back to the second half of the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa, Florida, between the Michigan Wolverines and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Zachary Linder here, along with Owen Crain and Jonas Tomkin. About 2.5 minutes away from kickoff, Michigan will get the ball first up 6. And it's really interesting to me because Michigan coming in as a big underdog. If you told them you're going to be up 6 at halftime and starting the second half with the ball, they would take it in a heartbeat. But at the same time, with how that half ended, Alabama's offense finally picking up steam, Michigan struggling to move the ball, I think there has to be some concern on the Wolverines sideline despite the unexpected lead.
Definitely, and like you said, Linder, Alabama's offense picked up steam towards the end of that first half. Before their last 2 drives, they just had 1 total yard on offense, now at 163 total yards. A lot of that coming from a couple big plays from Rico Scott and Jalen Milroe, 2 running the end around to Rico Scott on the second to last drive of the half, which ended up being a touchdown for the Crimson Tide. And then that huge read option on 3rd and 1 when Michigan really needed to contain Alabama behind their own 20-yard line, but a huge pickup for Milroe allowed the Crimson Tide to get 3 points on the board and make this a 1-score game. And really, like you said, Michigan before this game would have taken that 6-point lead, but it really was all Wolverines for a while until the end of that first half.
Not the end to the half that you want, like you said. When you're given a gift the way Alabama did to Michigan in this first quarter, you have to take advantage of it. And I don't think the score right now suggests that Michigan used the unearned opportunities to the point that they should have.
Michigan scored 16 straight points across 4 possessions to open up the scoring in the first quarter. Alabama has scored the last 10 points, all in the final 4+ minutes of the second quarter. That leaves us where we're at, 16-10, Michigan out in front, looking to end the year, end 2024 with a win against Alabama after opening 2024 with a win against Alabama. Michigan will get the ball to start the second half. Looks like Alabama will kick from the left side to the right. Looks like Alabama electing to kick into the wind, hoping that they'll have the wind at their backs in the fourth quarter, although you never know, the wind has switched direction from the start of the game. That opening kickoff from Dominic Zavada going right to left got caught up in the wind, ended up going out of bounds. As Connor Talty will kick it off for Alabama, and the second half is underway. And that'll be caught in the end zone, going to be taken out 15, and sliding down around the 17-yard line is Joe Taylor. Second time a Michigan player has taken a kickoff out of the end zone, both times failing to get even to the 20-yard line. It's going to be ruled down at the 16, so a net loss of 9 yards, and that is where Davis Warren will lead out this Wolverines offense. On the right hash, we'll have 3 receivers left. Now 1 moves right, 1 running back in, man in motion. Take the snap, it'll be a handoff there. And going nowhere is Jordan Marshall. Bounces out to the right side, maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage before getting pushed back, but nothing more. It'll be second down.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that in the first half. Michigan trying to get their run game going, but a lot of the time, Jordan Marshall just running into a brick wall in that Alabama defensive line.
Officially a pickup of 1. Jordan Marshall stays in the game. Wolverines go with a tighter set here, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. And it'll be a bit of a trick play here, an end around out to the right side, going down at about the 22-yard line is Frederick Moore. So he'll get a pickup of about 4 yards. It'll be third and about 5 to go from the 21. Michigan again, they'll spread out a couple tight ends. Play clock down to 10. 2 receivers each side. Snap, Warren looks to throw right side, complete out to the 34-yard line. That's Marlon Klein where he gets taken out of bounds on the right side, but a big first down for the Wolverines to keep the drive alive.
Feels like this team finally takes your advice, Linder. They opt for a passing option. Klein's wide open, makes a nice grab, and Wolverines finally move the chains.
I apologize, that was the 29-yard line where he went out of bounds. Pickup of 8, gives them a first down. Jordan Marshall remains the back. He'll move behind Warren in a pistol, and he'll take the handoff right up the middle, tries to push his way forward, and it looks like they'll give him about 2 yards. But again, still struggling to get this rushing attack going.
Definitely, and with their big running backs, Kalel Mullings and Donovan Edwards out, Jordan Marshall has had to step up and struggled so far with this strong Alabama defensive line.
So for the first time in the second half, Benjamin Hall will come in. 3 receivers, 1 tight end. Jordan Marshall also in, now comes back, gets a handoff, but immediately taken down there. That was James Smith getting into the backfield right away. They had set up Jordan Marshall wide, brought him back into the backfield, but nowhere to go. And 3rd and 9, loses a yard, and another 3rd and long for the Wolverines. 4 wide here for Michigan. 1 running back. 8 to snap it. Warren drops back, rolls out right. Getting pressured, and he does not get a throw off as James Smith in on the sack right at the sideline. That's going to be a loss of about 13 yards. As Warren does not even throw the ball away. He was about a foot or 2 away from the sideline, and the Wolverines will have to punt.
Yeah, and after running it on 1st and 2nd down, Wolverines forced to pass on that 3rd down. Alabama knew exactly what was coming, and really nothing for Davis Warren there to do. Was forced to roll out right and eventually sacked for a pretty big loss.
And a penalty announced against Alabama. I didn't hear exactly what the call was, but that's going to give Michigan a first down.
Yeah, it was against the Alabama bench, so something going on there, but very fortunate for Michigan. But looks like Davis Warren is down on the field right now, and he's being helped by some Michigan trainers, being guided back towards the bench, but does not look like he's going to stay in the game for the moment, which is very unfortunate for these Wolverines, who really have struggled to find consistency at that quarterback position all season. And just as Davis Warren was slightly settling into this game, he's going to take a hard hit on the sack and be forced to the sidelines.
He'll be carried off with trainers helping both sides, both shoulders. So Alex Orji, an opportunity to step back in full time. We've seen what he can do with the run. And he had opportunities early in the season, but didn't make much of them.
Yeah, Orji was looking to be the starting quarterback coming into the season, but really struggled in the passing game. Never really got himself going in that sense, but now in the ReliaQuest Bowl, excuse me, he's going to have to come in for Warren, who went down hard, and we'll see how he's developed since he's had to move to that mainly running-focused quarterback position. And as Michigan has struggled to run the ball all game, they're going to have to pass it. And with Orji, who's not a big passer, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, so Alabama there, after that play, penalized for sideline interference.
Got it.
And must have interfered with an official, which means they do not get a warning. It's a foul for unsportsmanlike conduct. 15 yards, Michigan keeps the ball. But it is interesting now with Alex Orji because, you know, we've seen him come into the game occasionally, but really with no intention of him throwing the ball. It's basically exclusively read options. He's going to have to throw the ball if he's going to be leading this Wolverines offense the rest of the way. We got about 30 seconds left before we can resume. Michigan offense heads out with Alex Orji. Michigan sets, there were 3 receivers left side. A pair of men in the backfield. And Benjamin Hawley and Max Bredesen, the hybrid tight end fullback. So we are back underway. Out of the pistol. No one on the right side, which is the short side of the field. Orji takes the snap, hands off to Marshall, and once again, can't do anything. They'll give him a yard, but nothing more. Make it 2nd and 9 at the 33, just under 4 minutes into the second half. Michigan still up 16-10 on their first possession of half number 2.
Wolverines are averaging 1.3 yards per rush, 29 attempts for 38 yards. Orji's going to have to be able to throw the football because the rush will not move the Wolverines downfield.
They go 2 receivers up top, 1 down low, still 2 running backs. As they'll take the snap and a botched handoff from Orji to Hall. Orji falls on top of it, but they're going to lose a couple yards. A loss of 3 officially. And it'll be 3rd and 12. And here's the situation. You just cannot run this for 12 yards here. And the Alabama crowd, as loud as it's been all game, they go shotgun here, 3 wide to the left, 1 to the right. And they're just going to hand it off to Hall. Gets a yard, that's it.
Yeah, 3 straight runs since Orji came in. And you got to think what the long-term game plan is for the rest of this game. If you can't run it every play, as Alabama knows that's coming and has been able to stop it fairly easily. And we'll see what happens on this next Michigan drive with no Davis Warren.
So Michigan to punt it here. Punt goes out pretty deep, drifting back, bounces untouched at the 8, and it'll land in the end zone. So that's Charlie Menser with the wind riding his punt. It ends up being 69 yards. And Alabama, with 9:24 left in the third, will start their first possession of the second half at the 20-yard line with the chance to take a lead on the touchdown.
Yeah, and Michigan was gifted a first down there on that penalty from the Alabama bench, but not able to do anything with it with just 3 straight rushes, none for any positive yardage.
So 1st and 10 from the 20, out of the pistol. 3 receivers, 1 tight end. Milroe play fakes, looks deep, throws deep, and a wide open man over on the left side. That is Jeremy Bernard, who's taken out at about the 38-yard line. But an easy pickup there of 18 yards gets things rolling for the Tide.
Jeremy Bernard has had himself a game. Only Alabama receiver with more than 1 catch so far today. 69 total yards. He helped move the chains all the way down the field on the Alabama touchdown.
They'll go with 3 tight end package here out of shotgun, but it's going to be a handoff. And going nowhere there is Jam Miller. Michigan's stout run defense holds strong there. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10. It's Milrow in an empty backfield. Center Judge will hold it up for Michigan to sub. Now Jam Miller moves back to the left of Milrow. 2 receivers, 2 tight ends. Takes a snap, pressure from the left side, and he goes down! That's Brandon Hillman with the sack as he came off the edge and no one picked him up.
Yeah, safety blitz there from the Wolverines, and Brandon Hillman just left completely untouched and just charged Milrow, who was not able to get away, and a good sack there from the Wolverines, and exactly what they needed.
5th sack for Michigan. Alabama's got 2. 3rd and 20 from the Alabama 28. The Let's Go Blue chants are loud right in front of us. Milrow takes the snap. He's got time, a lot of time, and he's just going to check it down to his tight end over on the left side. He'll get about 10 yards, but that's not enough. That was C.J. Dupree. Gets taken out of bounds at about the 39-yard line, and that sack will force Alabama off the field. They'll have to punt it away.
Now, obviously, you don't really need to worry too much about a pickup on a short gain, but Dupree, without any coverage for 20 seconds or so, Milrow had plenty of time to find him.
Samaj Morgan to field the punt, but it's going to bounce way behind him about the 2, go into the end zone. That'll be a touchback. 7:04 to play in the 3rd quarter. And we'll get a media timeout here. Michigan up by 6. They have the ball back, but now we have to see offensively how they're going to play this.
Yeah, Jalen Milrow was forced to just take his check down there on 3rd and 20 and had plenty of time in the pocket, but unable to pick up that 1st down. And yeah, like you said, Zach, Michigan, when brought in Alex Orji after Warren went down on that last drive, and 3 straight runs, and they're going to have to show this Crimson Tide defense another look, because Alex Orji, all he's done is run, and he's going to have to pass the ball at some point. And the Wolverines were already hesitant to pass it when they had Davis Warren, their only passer quarterback on the team, and it's really going to be an interesting 2nd half now with Orji in the game.
Yeah, again, to your point, Davis Warren just 9 for 12, 73 yards, but you at least saw flashes. He had that one brilliant touchdown pass to Frederick Moore. Threw a dime there, had a couple other drive extending passes. But to your point, Alex Orji's going to have to throw the ball, and we'll see how it ends up. But if they just try to run the ball 3 times, they're just going to end up with 3 and outs.
Definitely, and last time I remember Orji throwing the ball was against Minnesota in Ann Arbor, and he struggled a bit. It was his highest passing yards of the season, but had a few interceptions and really wasn't confident throwing the ball and was looping it a bit. And we'll see if in practice they even train Alex Orji to pass, and we're really going to have to see how this goes. Looks like he's next to the sideline right now throwing a couple passes as he has to do, and it's really going to be interesting for Michigan's offensive coordinator, who this is his first game calling plays, and he's kind of being thrown into the gauntlet here, losing his main quarterback, Davis Warren.
The Wolverines will obviously have to make adjustments. My guess, though, is that they will try to stay with the run game as much as they can. I don't expect to see Orji throw more than once per down, four downs. We've seen enough of Alex Orji where we know that he's obviously a very talented player, but he certainly struggles to throw the ball. One of the reasons that he was ultimately benched after coming in The Wolverines tried 3 different quarterbacks this season. Tuttle, of course, retired. So now it's between Warren and Orji, and Orji's been the backup. I don't see any reason he'll play much differently than he played. Not to say he's not talented, but I expect that the Wolverines will stick with the run game.
So 1st and 10 from the 20. Wolverines take it on the left hash after the touchback. 3 receivers right. They'll move 1 inside, 1 left. And it'll be a handoff here. As that's Jordan Marshall, who pushes his way all the way up to the 33-yard line, where he gets taken down. A big pickup of 13 there gives the Wolverines a 1st down on the ground.
Yeah, Marshall first was hit by an Alabama defender in the backfield, but just kept on going, and quick 1st down here for the Wolverines.
So 1st and 10 once again, 6.5 to play in the 3rd. Another handoff from Marshall, goes out wide, and a flag is going to come in from the backfield. Have to wonder if that's going to be a hold against Michigan. And a face mask against Michigan. That's Josh Cuevas. I apologize, that's Hogan Hansen. Knocks Michigan back. A rare offensive face mask. Gonna make it. 1st and 25 for Michigan from the 18. Orji in an empty backfield. Now they're gonna adjust. This is going to be hard to run it for Michigan. Bunch set to the left, 1 receiver up top, pistol formation. They're going to go with the handoff. There's a bit of space for Marshall. He'll get about 6 yards.
I like how you say it's going to be a little tough for Michigan to run. 25 yards to go. The Wolverines are going to have to play a perfect second half here if they're going to stick with the run game, because when Jordan Marshall picks up 12, 13 yards, you can never negate that. Now, no matter what happens here, Marshall, certainly a welcome light of hope for the Wolverines with some big changes on the horizon. 14 attempts for 51 yards, averaging over 3.5 yards per carry. He's had himself a game.
Jahad Campbell down on the field for the Crimson Tides. We get a brief stoppage there. He's quickly helped across the field to his sideline.
Yeah, that's not going to be ideal for Alabama, Campbell leads the Crimson Tide in total tackles on defense. He's a top linebacker prospect for this upcoming NFL draft. 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception on the season.
So it's 2nd and 20 for Michigan. They have 5 back after the 15-yard penalty. Handoff yet again. 1 yard for Benjamin Hall. It'll be 3rd and 19, and at this point, I almost think we have to expect just another handoff here on 3rd down.
Yeah, the Wolverines don't want to make any mistakes, clearly, just trying to hold on to this 6-point lead, but it doesn't look like they want to get down the field with that passing game.
Ball goes wide. Orji throws a screen pass complete to Samaj Morgan as he gets about 4 yards. So Orji finally throws the ball. It's about as safe as it can be. Nowhere close to the 1st down. And the punt unit will come back out.
I like that play call with the screen pass, but you got to do that on 1st or 2nd down. Get Orji comfortable throwing the ball and let him, settle into that passing game.
Hudson Hollenbeck to punt it, as that'll go out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. I think that's where they're going to spot it. 4:33 to play in the 3rd. 2 drives for Michigan, 1 for Alabama have all ended in punts, and it's Michigan retaining a 16-10 lead.
And that's the challenge with Michigan focusing on the ground game. if you're only picking up incremental gains, and essentially after that 1st and 25, giving up on a long passing play, you set Alabama up with favorable positioning. 1st and 10 from the 35. They had a few turnovers in the first quarter, but that second quarter, the offense came alive. We saw what the Alabama offense in Milroe can do when they're hot. The 35 is a very favorable spot to start.
Yeah, and a punt of just 37 yards from Hollenbeck, not helping matters. Again, Tommy Doman in the transferred out of Michigan, so Hollenbeck getting his first real action with the Wolverines. But now if you're Michigan at this point, you're back on defense, and I think it all comes back to that pass rush. It was the one sack on that last drive that ended up forcing Alabama to punt. It seems that is the formula to success for Michigan. Stop the run and get in the backfield on the pass. And that's how they negate their weakness in the secondary.
Definitely, Michigan needs to put pressure on Jalen Milroe, because if you give him too much time, as we've seen in those 2 drives towards the end of that first half, he can pick out his receivers and is able to do so very well, and had plenty of time on 3rd down when they had to punt it, but good coverage from the Michigan Wolverines on that first drive of the second half forced him just to take the check down and forced the Alabama to punt it away. And we'll see how the Michigan defense fares out here, also knowing that they do not have Davis Warren anymore, and it does not seem likely that their offense is going to be able to put together a sustainable drive in this second half.
Wolverines will have to hope for a miracle in that department. It seems that they are, in terms of a miracle run where you find a gap, blast downfield. I mean, Zavada is good for a very long-range field goal. We've seen it from him all season. But you need to convert on first downs, and you can't allow yourself to be penalized, especially when you're focusing on the run.
So Alabama left hash at the 35. 4.5 to play in the 3rd. And they will go 4 wide here, 2 to each side, 1 running back. Pass from Milroe, screen left side, complete. Ryan Williams with the reception. Gets taken down at the 38 for a pickup of 3. Make it 2nd and 7. As they go with tighter formation here. 2 tight ends and a receiver close on each side. Milroe passing again, facing pressure from the left side, forces a high pass to Williams. As that was Amir Hall coming from the left side where Milroe was throwing, got right in his face, forced a high pass. The Let's Go Blue Chants coming back as it is 3rd and 6 for Alabama at the 39, and a long 6 at that. Sends a man in motion, pass. Drop back from Milroe. Now he rolls out to his left, and he gets taken down. Another sack for the Wolverines. That was Evan Butterwick to finish the job after he had some help coming in front of him. As Ike. Yeah, that was Ike Chukwu, who initially couldn't get him. But Michigan gets their 6th sack, and they will force a punt. This will come to about the 30-yard line, where the fair cop by Samaj Morgan, and Michigan will take over.
Yeah, and Milroe had time there on that 3rd down, but great coverage there from the Wolverines secondary. as Milroe was trying to find an open man, but bit of a coverage sack there as Alabama's offensive line could only keep that Michigan front at bay for so long. And it's going to be their 6th sack of the game, and another big one there for the Wolverines, and they'll get the ball back here.
To your point, both ends of the Michigan defense working well together there. The offensive line held up well for Alabama. Milroe had a ton of time in the pocket, and even as it slowly collapsed, he was able to spin out, but great coverage on the receivers gave the Michigan rushers plenty of time to make the sack and force the turnover.
Yeah, apologize, Isaiah Wuna, he was the initial man, and then finishing the job was Cameron Brandt. Now it's Orji out of the pistol. 2 tight ends to his right, 2 receivers to his left. Man in motion now to the right. It's a handoff up the middle. Jordan Marshall gets some space. He gets a pickup of about 7.
Great job by Hubbard on the tackle. Marshall was off to the races if it's not for that tackle. He went straight up the gut, evaded multiple defenders, and one final man left to make the tackle. Finally did, and that was Hubbard for the Crimson Tide. Otherwise, a massive game for the Wolverines.
2 tight ends to the right side, a receiver on each side. Orji takes the snap, hands off to Marshall, pushes forward past the sticks, and is down at the 42. So Michigan keeps that run game going, 2 plays, 12 yards, and a new set of downs with just over 2 minutes to play in the quarter.
Yeah, maybe this Alabama defense is getting a little bit tired as they faced the run a lot and been able to stop it so far, and we'll see what Michigan does now with an empty backfield.
All 5 receivers on the left. Now they will bring Marshall back with Orji. And he's going to look to pass the screen to Morgan. Complete, bounces the initial contact, but still can't do anything. He's going to be dropped at the 40-yard line. He'll lose 2.
We need to see some forward passes from Orji. There's too much lateral movement from him. And he's made a few completions here where I think he should have the confidence to start making these short forward passes. Morgan did a great job staying on his feet. He evaded the first tackle, but when you got 3 men on you, you just don't have an option, and he takes a loss of 2.
They're going to keep Morgan in the backfield along with Marshall. Bredesen in motion in front. Fake handoff to Morgan. Orji will keep it, but he gets dropped at the 39. Another yard lost.
Yeah, it looks like Orji just took the wrong option there. Samaj Morgan had plenty of space on that right side with 2 blockers ahead of him, but Orji decided to keep it and just ran into a brick wall, and it's going to be a 3rd and long here for the Wolverines.
In the final minute of the 3rd quarter, 3rd and 13 from the 39. Right about on the left NFL hash mark, which again is a few feet inside of the college hash mark. Orji in the pocket. Now he rolls out right side throw, and it's intercepted by Xavier Brown at the Alabama 49-yard line. Finally tried to force a play, and it backfires as with 23 seconds left in the quarter, Alabama's going to take over just a yard short of midfield.
Well, there's the reason the Wolverines have run the ball on nearly every single play or thrown laterally to wide open receivers. I mean, that's a tough look. The receiver was under a hell of a lot of coverage there. It's almost like they were battling for the ball into each other's arms, and Alabama comes away with it.
So the ball will be placed right on the midfield line. Handoff to Jam Miller, or a fake handoff, and then a throw to Rico Scott over to the right side. That'll get the ball down to the 41 and pick up a 9. This is going to bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Or I apologize, out at the 46. Pick up a 4 yards. that is the end of the third quarter. But Alabama in Michigan territory. And with Alabama struggling to move the ball their first 2 drives in the second half, this is exactly what Michigan did not want to do, giving them good starting field position. The first turnover of the game for the Wolverines after Alabama turned it over on 3 straight possessions back in the first quarter. Alabama can take a lead with a touchdown on this drive.
Yeah, and the Michigan defense, which has really stepped up all game, is going to need to do so again, as doesn't seem like the Wolverines are going to be able to sustain a consistent drive, and really it's going to be a struggle for them to put any points on the board, really just with that run game in their playbook now that Orji is playing at quarterback. And they're going to want to force Alabama to kick a field goal here and keep this lead for Michigan, but an Alabama touchdown really would change the tide of this game.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it is as tough as it is to say Michigan's up by 6. It almost feels like 16 is what they're scoring this game,
yeah,
which just makes it so hard on the defense. But I think and it doesn't really change the defensive strategy, but I think that is really the world Michigan's living in unless Benjamin Hall or Jordan Marshall can break off a big run.
Definitely, and putting a lot of pressure on this Michigan defense, which they have been used to all season with a struggling offense that's only scored about 22 points per game. And obviously putting up 50 points against Northwestern in their second to last game of the regular season. But other than that, Michigan really has struggled to put points on the board all season. And it does seem like 16 is going to be their ceiling tonight unless some big play does break out, like you said.
I mean, big play or Alabama mistakes. They've made some so far tonight. What was it? Three turnovers within 20 yards of the end zone. And that really is the issue right now. Michigan was gifted the ball within 25 yards or 20 yards of the end zone 3 times by the Alabama offense. And what do they have to show for it? 16 points. This is a Michigan team that's going to struggle to get points, so you have to play lockdown coverage on defense. Any interception will do. Sacks, help move the ball back downfield, a bad punt. The Wolverines just need to be in field goal position. If you can lock down the Alabama offense and find yourself a field goal or 2, there is certainly a path to winning this game, even without Davis Warren.
Yeah, and like you said, Owen, Michigan started with the ball on the 6-yard line and then had to kick a field goal, and that's really not what you want to see out of your offense. And I'm sure the Michigan defense, they're used to it at this point, but they're a little disappointed that Wolverines haven't capitalized on those mistakes. And if Alabama does come back and win this game, that's definitely going to be a main point of criticism, critique for these Wolverines.
So we are back here, Alabama now moving to the left. It was a pickup of 9 as they had originally thought. 3 receivers to the left and a tight end. Now they'll send a receiver to the right. Fake handoff, Milroe keeps it. He'll pick up a first down, get down at the 37-yard line in Michigan territory.
First down, Alabama.
Again, Alabama down by 6 points, looking for a touchdown to give them the lead. Just 189 yards for Alabama in this game, 141 for Michigan. Empty backfield for Alabama. Bunch set to the left. 1 man will move right. 3 receivers right. Milroe rolls out right. It's a designed run, and he's going to be taken down right around the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and if you can force a field goal here, Wolverines are going to be very happy about that to keep this lead on their side. Like we said, 16 might be the ceiling now for the score of the Wolverines, and they're going to have to come up with something big here on defense.
An empty backfield once again. A tight end to the right, 4 receivers bunched out to the left. One comes back around to the right. Milroe drops back, pressure gets to him a little, but he's got time, makes a high pass, but completes it to Daniel Hill over on the right side. He'll pick up 3 yards, down to the 34-yard line. It is 3rd and 7 for Alabama, and Jonas, as you mentioned, holding them to a field goal attempt and maintaining this lead would be huge.
Yeah, good coverage there from the Michigan secondary as Milroe was forced to take his check down.
Wolverines fans getting loud. They have a running back in the backfield. Receiver to the left, 2 receivers and a tight end right. Dan Miller, who's become a 3-down back, 4 on the play clock. And they'll get the snap off. Pressure coming from the right. Protection holds up. A near interception there for the Wolverines by Brandon Hillman, who dumped the route, breaks it up. It's going to be 4th and 7, and an interesting decision for Alabama on what would be a 52-yard field goal. It looks like they're going to leave this offense out on the field with a field goal still not tying the game.
Not a surprising decision, seeing Michigan's inability to move the ball upfield.
4th and 7, out of shotgun, 3 receivers, left, 1 right. Milroe takes the snap, has time, left side, pass caught, out of bounds, incomplete. Intended for Jalen Mbakwe, but just led him too far toward the sideline. A huge 4th down stop for Michigan, 2.5 minutes into the quarter. They get the ball back with a 16-10 lead.
Not only a huge stop, but on the Michigan 34-yard line. This is a Michigan team that we don't expect to get a touchdown out of this drive, but a few good runs can move you into field goal position. So you not only stop Alabama from putting any additional points on the board, but you're set up with a decent starting position in the Michigan 34-yard line. We've seen what Dominic Zavada can do. If you can make your way just within the 50, just into plus territory, you give him a chance. And that may be all he needs to expand this Michigan lead past a single score.
Yeah, you know, with Alex Orji playing here, it kind of reminds me of his first start, being 4th game of the season against USC, a game I was covering, and Michigan had an early 14-0 lead. USC took the lead. Michigan scored in the final 30 seconds. But the big thing to me, Michigan's defense for the most part played very well. Had a couple moments where the coverage lapsed a little, but it was a strong game by the defense, much like they played today. The offense basically was powered off of three very long runs, and that basically won them the game on that side of the ball. Now, they don't have Khalil Mullings. They don't have Donovan Edwards, but we've started to see Jordan Marshall get some traction. He has 16 carries, up to 63 yards, averaging 3.9. Benjamin Hall just 24 yards and 12 carries, but just waiting to see if maybe Marshall can finally break one big, because again, it's not that a 9-point lead would be comfortable at this point in the game, but it would make it 2 scores, and I think more than anything, it's just the best that you can ask for if you're Michigan, given how this offense has played this whole game, and then especially since Davis Warren left with an injury.
Definitely, and like you said, Jordan Marshall has stepped up slightly without their 2 main running backs, but they're going to need something big, and honestly, Alex Orji is going to need to step up here as he threw an interception on his first forward pass of the game on the last drive, and we'll see what Steve Kazula has in mind for this play calling here. Like I said before, it's his first time being the play caller for these Wolverines, was formerly the tight end coach, interim offensive coordinator right now, and Wolverines will start their drive. 2
first downs is field goal territory for Zavada.
Michigan with a pair of receivers on each side. Both running backs in the game. The handoff goes to Marshall, bounces it to the left, gets knocked out of bounds at about the 36 into the Alabama bench. He'll get a couple yards.
Took a big hit going out, too.
Looks like he's going to stay on the field, though, after taking that big hit out of bounds. Just a gain of 2 on the play. But staying with that read option and playing fairly conservative here, as Michigan does not want to make any mistakes.
They go 5 wide, spread Marshall out. And now he comes back in, pair of tight ends. And the handoff to Marshall. He's got space right side to the 45, midfield, breaks it, 45, pushed out of bounds around the Alabama 40. That's exactly what this Wolverines offense needed as they get right on the edge of Dominic Zavada's field goal range.
The chance to make this game more than a single score is truly all the Wolverines want right now. What a gorgeous run we just saw from Jordan Marshall. He broke multiple tackles, saw the open lane, very Kalel Mullings-esque.
Definitely.
3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. It's a handoff again and goes backwards. Benjamin Hall this time as Jordan Marshall took a seat after that last run. He's gonna lose a couple yards. Not the right direction for Michigan, who's probably needs to get another 4 or 5 yards maybe to really be in field goal range. So 2nd and 12, 11 to play. Michigan up by 6. They bring Bredesen in back along with Hall. As Orji keeps it, rolls to the right side, tiptoes the sideline nicely, finally gets pushed down a little short of the sticks. It'll be at the 32. It's 3rd and 2, but most importantly, they are now well within field goal range as the kick from here would be a 50-yarder.
And a look at the wind right now, the American flag directly across the field from us, moving in multiple directions, but most importantly, not holding a steady blow. So the wind, hopefully in the bowl, a little bit slower, a little calmer for Zavada.
Yeah, and Orji initially went back to the 50 on that run, but used his athleticism for positive yardage.
3rd and 2 out of pistol. Handoff to Hall, who gets the first down out to the 28-yard line. Wolverines are in business.
And I really didn't think Michigan was going to be able to just run it for the rest of this game and have any success. But on this drive, this Alabama defense getting a little tired of defending that run game. And obviously the huge run from Jordan Marshall and that nice play from Orji. And now they're inside the 30-yard line.
So they go back out of shotgun. It's Marshall back in the game. He gets the handoff, struggles to make anything happen. He's going to get 2 yards out of it. It looked like he could have been a loss of 2. Make it 2nd and 8.
Yeah, Jordan Marshall really does run hard, and we see why Sharon Moore had such high hopes for him and didn't do anything crazy, but obviously that 25-yard run is what did it for these Wolverines, and they're looking to be in a great spot right now.
Wolverines will shift. They initially spread out 5 receivers. Now bring a running back in there, and Marshall gets dumped in the backfield. He'll lose 2. It'll be 3rd and 10. And you have to wonder now in field goal range if this is just another run to make sure they don't turn the ball over and then try to go up 2 scores.
That would be my play call here. Alabama read that previous play very well. Defenders are right on top of the ball carrier. Short gains is the key to Michigan's offense right now.
4 receivers, 1 running back. It's Jordan Marshall. Orji looks to the sideline, 10 on the play clock. 3 receivers right, 1 left. They'll now move Hogan Hansen inside. It is a handoff, and there's space there for Marshall, who ends up about a yard short of the first down. And this creates a real interesting situation if you're Sharon Moore. 4th and a yard to go. And they are going to send the field goal unit out there.
Yeah, the Wolverines not taking any chances, and Sharon Moore just wants to put points on the board, give his team that 2-possession lead, and time is counting down here, and Alabama doesn't have that much time to get back into this game, so the Wolverines are going to put themselves in a really good position if Zavada can convert this field goal.
I agree. Right call considering the conditions.
So that a 38-yard kick is up, and it is good. And with 7:21 to play in the 4th quarter, it is a 19-10 lead for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Dominic Zavada has been busy today. That's his 4th field goal of the day, but he's converted all 4 of them and shown why he's the most accurate, has been the most accurate kicker in the Big Ten, and giving Wolverines that 2-possession lead, which they desperately needed after losing Davis Warren in that 3rd quarter.
That's one of the keys here. Alabama can move down the field very efficiently, but if Michigan can get the ball back and convert a few first downs, man, does this Michigan offense know how to kill time on a clock. Maybe not even intentionally. It's just the way they operate. That ground game takes a while, but if you run your offense the way the Wolverines were able to just now, a few first downs, move that clock down, there is certainly a path to victory here for the Wolverines, and there should be. They're up 9 right now, 7:21 to go. But losing your starting quarterback, bringing in a backup who hasn't thrown a pass in months, this is an impressive performance so far from the Wolverines, and as a senior at Michigan, I can only hope they keep it up.
Especially impressive on the defensive side. That's what's really kept Michigan in this game, and that's what gave them the lead in that first half. As we talked about earlier, 3 turnovers for Alabama within their own 20-yard line, and Michigan didn't fully capitalize, as we said, but a nice drive there with a couple of big runs, one from Jordan Marshall, and then a nice athletic play from Alex Orji as he was almost taken down in the backfield at about the 50-yard line. Would have put them out of field goal range, but able to avoid a few tackles and tiptoe along that right sideline and able to get another first down for the Wolverines eventually, and the field goal gives them a 2-position lead, as we said.
Yeah, and so if you're Michigan here, this next drive becomes big. If Michigan can get the ball back with up 2 scores, they're in very good position. On the other hand, if Alabama can find another couple big plays like they had late in the first half, they could get a touchdown in 2 minutes, and all of a sudden, Michigan's lead isn't secure at all. Again, 7:21 to play, 19-10 lead for Michigan, who just scored the first points of the second half on Dominic Zavada's 4th field goal of the game in as many tries. Both teams still have all 3 timeouts. As Michigan sends its kicking team out onto the field. Zavada, who's taking over kickoff duties for the first time, something Tommy Doman had handled all throughout the regular season. And a line drive kick, but that'll bounce about 9 yards into the end zone. Untouched for a touchback.
Yeah, and it seems Alabama's underestimated this Michigan Wolverines defense, especially coming into this game. On that first drive, they went for it on 4th down and ended up turning it over on downs. And it's been a struggle ever since for that Alabama offense.
Bama with 5 wide as they spread out Jam Miller. Milroe takes the snap, drops back, Looks left side to Miller. Passes high but caught. And he gets down to about the 33-yard line. Pickup of 8.
The danger of Michigan zone coverage is 8 yards on a pass. No one around the receiver. It's finally brought down, but.
And a quick play there, quick snap on second down, a handoff to Miller. He's going to get all the way up to the 43. And this is what Michigan could not have happen. 2 plays quickly, 18 yards picked up for Alabama as they look to cut this deficit back to 1 score quickly. Center Judge drops back after subs, 5 wide. Now Miller retreats into the backfield. Now we'll go around to the right side. Miller looks his way, now keeps it. He's got space up the middle. Take it down at about the 48. He'll get 9 yards. RPO there. And Milroe smartly chooses the run as Alabama's going to work quickly again. They won't sub here. And this time they'll hand it off. But quickly there are Wolverines, but then a late surge by Alabama, I think, is just going to get them the first down. The chains will be moved.
Alabama quickly getting into Michigan territory, exactly what the Wolverines didn't want to happen. A couple quick first downs, and looks like they've got a bit of a drive going here.
Empty backfield from the 47. Milroe will drop back, pressure coming in his face. Wide open man, way down the field, but just a miscommunication there, but a flag in the backfield. I think it's going to be a hit to the head or neck area of Jalen Milroe. Likely will be roughing the passer.
Yeah, but if you're the Wolverines, you might take that. Looks like
yeah, that is the call. Again, Jeremy Bernard was wide open, but just a miscommunication. And looking at the replay, and that is not a foul. That contact is to the chest. He does not get him in the head. Obviously, the ref is behind, so he doesn't see the contact. But a huge break there for Alabama, who now moves to the 32. Milroe takes a snap from under center. Pressure in his face again, forces an incompletion.
Yeah, Wolverines continuing to do a great job of putting pressure on Jalen Milroe. We've seen all game. Milroe rarely has time as his pocket seems to collapse every time he wants to drop back. And there, just 1 or 2 seconds before he just had to throw that away and not let the Wolverines get another sack.
C.J. Dupree in the area. Now 2nd and 10. Back out a shotgun. 2 receivers each side. Handoff to Miller. Quickly in the backfield. He goes down for no gain. That was Wesley Walker coming around from outside. Forces him to the ground. And it's going to be 3rd and long for the Crimson Tide. Loss of a yard makes it 3rd and 11 from the 33 with 5 minutes to play. It would be a 51-yard field goal from here. Wolverine fans on their feet here. 15 to snap it. Milroe takes the snap. Pressure coming from behind again. Rolls out to the right. Escapes the pressure. Throws across his body. It'll be incomplete. He was trying to find Champ Miller.
Milroe doing everything in his ability to continue that play, to keep that play going. It looks like he got out of about 2 or 3 sacks, but unable to find his receiver. And it's going to be a 4th and long here as Alabama's going to have to settle for a long field goal here. Graham Nicholson, his long is a 47 on the season. I think this might be longer than that. So
it's going to be a 51-yarder. Alabama must have it. Snap. Kick is up. And it is good as Nicholson hits from 51 with 4:38 to play to cut it back to a 1-score deficit with Michigan now leading 19-13.
Still needed by the Wolverines. That's what Wolverine fans wanted. That was the second best case here. 3 points to the score. This is a one-score game, but the Wolverines will take possession off the kickoff. And if it's the same offense we saw, not only can they run some time off the clock, but if they march downfield enough and are able to nail another field goal, that could be game.
Definitely, and obviously a very clutch kick there from Nicholson, making it his longest of the season. He was yet to hit a 50-yarder or longer, and coming up in the right moment. And now the Crimson Tide defense is really going to have to step up if they want to get their offense back on the field and allow them to get a touchdown and maybe take a lead in this game. But Wolverines finally were able to get that running game going on that last drive, and they'll hope to replicate that here with just under 5 minutes to go in this fourth quarter.
Now the bright side, if you're Alabama, they wanted a touchdown, they got a field goal, but they still have 4.5 minutes, they still have all 3 timeouts. So time is not going to be an issue for them unless Michigan's able to march all the way down the field. Of course, they need to still get a touchdown drive once they get the ball back.
Definitely.
But Alabama keeps themselves in the game. Had they gotten no points out of that drive, would have been a very hard mountain to climb. Instead, they've got a chance here. We'll see if the Michigan ground game can get them enough first downs to burn some clock. But I just think with where the time is at, Michigan probably is going to need to get points out of this drive. I just don't think they can run the clock all the way down, with Alabama still having 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute timeout, really making it 4.
Now, the big question is, do you try the forward pass at all?
I mean, I don't think you can just run it 3 times. You can't just give them the ball back like that. I know his one pass that went beyond the line of scrimmage
was intercepted.
Right. But you can't just run 3 times, 3 and out. You cannot put that stress on your defense then to keep them out of the end zone, even though they've shown most of the game they're capable of doing it.
Yeah, Alabama, who coming into the game was averaging about 34 points per game, and Michigan has held them to 13 so far, which is a huge success for their defense. And we'll see what Alex Orji and their offense is able to do now that they get the ball back, and are going to need to put together a decent drive here and put points on the board, like you said, Zach.
So a bit of a delay. It may have had something to do with the TV. It didn't appear that it was going to be a media timeout. So we are ready now as it's Connor Talty handling the kickoff. They'll kick it deep into the end zone and through the back of the end zone. Ball lands on the white beyond the end line. So we'll go to the 25 for the Wolverines. Orji in the backfield, in pistol. It's Jordan Marshall behind him. Max Bredesen to his right. 2 receivers to the right, 1 left. Marlon Klein now moves in front. Handoff comes to Marshall. Tries to find space to his left. He'll get pushed ahead to the 27. A pickup of 2, and now a late flag. And this is going to be hugely consequential. 2 of them come in from opposite sides of the field. In fact, 3 flags. Have to assume this is going to be a dead ball foul, but I don't know which team it'll be on.
After the play was over, no sportsmanlike conduct, number 15, Alabama.
And it's against Alabama, unsportsmanlike conduct against Justin Jefferson, the linebacker. And just gifts Michigan not only a first down, but massively improved field position.
Yeah, and Jefferson, who's been really solid in that linebacker position with 2 sacks on the season, 1 forced fumble, but really not great timing for that unsportsmanlike conduct.
Empty backfield for Orji. Marshall now joins him. 4 to snap. Take the handoff. Take the snap, hand it off to Marshall, who once again can't go anywhere. As we reach the under 4-minute mark in this contest, Michigan still up by 6.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Michigan wants to change their game plan. They're sticking with those runs, mostly out of that shotgun formation. It looks like Marshall's beat up a bit as Hall is going to come back onto the field, but great performance from Marshall stepping up today.
2 receivers to the right. Handoff to Hall, who goes nowhere. And here's the big inflection point. Maybe he gets a yard there, but you got 3rd and 9, 3 minutes to play. If you're Michigan, what do you do here?
I mean, I don't mind a screen pass. I know you really don't want to turn the ball over right now. That's about worst case scenario. But running the ball, like you said, isn't going to get you a first down, especially on 3rd and 9. And we'll see what Steve Kazula has planned out for this huge 3rd down.
Play clock down to 10. Figure Michigan's going to want to run it down as much as they can. Alabama still with all 3 timeouts. 4 to snap. And they're just going to hand it off. Hall gets 2 yards, that's it. And now Kalen DeBoer, with 2:34 to go, will take his first timeout, as Michigan will have to punt it away after some very conservative play calling there.
Perhaps a little bit too conservative. You can appreciate, though, why Michigan is being so careful. All game, you've had trust in the Michigan defense to get things done, and you have a smile on your face when something happens on the offensive side. And I think this is the game plan for the Wolverines. They're going to trust in their defense. Alabama, 2:34 left on the clock, 2 timeouts in their back pocket. They must score a touchdown here.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Alabama at this point, I'm not worried about time. You can 2.5 minutes, 2 timeouts, 2-minute timeout. Inside 2 minutes, you get clock stoppages on first downs. They have time. It's just a matter of if they can move the ball all the way down the field. We've seen them move it a couple times, then stall out right on the edge of field goal range. As Michigan now lined up to punt it away from the 44. And that kick will go down to the 7-yard line, where it is caught and now brought back out to the left side to the 20, 30, 35, 40. Taken out around the 45. Right, that's Ryan Williams with a huge return, and Michigan just could not afford that after a very good punt that went all the way down to the 7-yard line.
The worst possible situation besides a touchdown return. The Wolverines just didn't have any coverage on the right side of the field. Williams beat the first few defenders and picked up some huge yardage, 38 yards, to set up Alabama in extremely favorable position.
They start on their own 44 with 2:18 left hash. As Miller motions right. Throw left side high, but caught by Williams. Gets driven back immediately. Forward progress will be ruled at the 48, and that in all likelihood will take us to the 2-minute timeout. And for the second time this season, we're going to have a thrilling finish in an Alabama-Michigan game. Crimson Tide trailing by 6, but they have incredible starting field position to get this drive going. Touchdown likely wins the game for them.
Yeah, and Ryan Williams, who was Alabama's main kick and punt returner throughout the season, hasn't been returning most of the kicks today, but obviously it's coming down to the wire now, and DeBoer putting in his trustworthy guy, and obviously for good reasons, caught that about the 6-yard line on the right side of the field, and saw he had open space, a bit of a risky move, but he used his speed and was able to get around a lot of Michigan defenders and take it all the way close to Michigan territory. And that was huge, and it really is going to be a thrilling end to this game.
You just, as a Michigan fan, you want that one back. He's down at the 6. That 4-yard pass puts Alabama at the 10. To speak to how important his run was, instead of the 10 right now, they're at the 48-yard line with 2 minutes to go, 2 timeouts, plenty of time to move downfield. And now it really comes down to this Michigan defense. Limited opportunities to stop Alabama. They've done it before. Can they do it at the biggest moment of the game?
52 yards to go for Alabama. Again, with 2 timeouts, as long as they manage this right, they should be able to run their full playbook. And if you're Michigan, you do not want to need a last-minute score. That is just not going to be compatible with how this offense plays. It all falls down on the defense. They have stood up throughout this entire game. Do they have it in that one last time behind the support of the Wolverine faithful who have made the trip to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida? 2 minutes ago, 2nd and 8 for Alabama at their own 48 on the left hash. And once again, looked like the media timeout was over, but now I think there might be some extension. This play is still getting held up. Milrow in an empty backfield. Crowd getting into it. Still waiting on an official signal to start the play clock. And now we get it. 2 receivers left, 3 right. Michigan showing pressure. They send 4. Milrow rolls right. Looks across his body, throws out of bounds, incomplete, 3rd down.
Yeah.
Great defensive coverage from the Wolverines.
Yeah, and also Michigan able to put enough pressure on Milrow, force him to roll outside, and as we've seen all game, that pocket just collapsing on Milrow, and Michigan defense doesn't seem to be getting tired. Derek Moore on that left side has really done a great job of getting pressure to the quarterback, and a huge 3rd down.
Empty backfield again on 3rd down. As Miller now comes back to the left of Milrow. Milrow drop back, looks right, throw, wide open target over on the right side. That is Jeremy Bernard, who takes a big shot at the 40. Clock stops with 1:46 for the 1st down. Tide working fast. Snap taken. Deep shot to the left side. Caught out of bounds. Cannot hit Ryan Williams inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the Michigan 40 with 1:37.
Great catch there from Williams, but unfortunately just slightly overthrown by Milrow. Was not a lot of space to put the ball, but out of bounds there, and a big incomplete pass.
2nd and 10, Miller in the backfield to the right. 3 receivers to the left on the long side of the field. Milrow facing pressure, gets the pass off to the check down in Miller, who gets all the way to down to the 15-yard line. He was just a safety valve and had tons of space in front of him, and the Crimson Tide are quickly in the red zone, and this is what Michigan could not afford.
Yeah, the Michigan defense getting pressure to Milrow like they need to do, but Milrow forced to kind of just lob it up over that defense and finding his running back in Miller.
Clock ticking to 1:15, empty backfield, 4 receivers left. They'll motion Miller. Milrow looks for the screen, doesn't take it, throw, end zone, out of bounds, incomplete. Jeremy Bernard the target in the left corner. 2nd down with 1:06 to play.
So a good job by the Wolverines on the end zone coverage. Milroe has been a little shaky under pressure. Best thing that the Wolverines can do is collapse that pocket. He's had multiple open receivers and missed them under pressure. You gotta rush him.
9 on the play clock. Milroe looks back toward the sideline. Tide are gonna shift. They gotta get this snap off. And they just do in time. Milroe facing pressure, throws, deflected pass, and almost intercepted, but it drops to the ground, incomplete.
Man.
Yeah, it looks like Ernest Hausman almost able to reel that in, but as he hit the ground, the ball popped out of his hands, and unfortunate there for the Wolverines, but still they've got a third down. Bama's got a third down here.
Exactly a minute to play. 3rd and 10. 3 receivers wide left, 1 right. Snap from Milroe. Pressure coming in his face. Throw to the end zone. Incomplete, not near any target. And it all comes down to this. 4th and 10 from the 15 with 56 seconds left.
And it does kind of feel like the Rose Bowl all over again. Alabama has a 4th down now that they need to convert, and if they don't, it's most likely gonna be the game, and if they don't convert, Michigan's gonna take home this win.
4th down, 10 yards, 2 receivers to each side. 11 on the play clock. Down to 5 to snap. And I think Alabama may have just been going for a hard count there, try to pick up 5 yards. They'll take their second time out, which at this point doesn't really matter. Other than that, a stop here for Michigan would officially mean game over with Alabama down to 1 timeout.
Yeah, and this Michigan defense has stepped up all game, especially in the red zone, and has forced a couple field goals, 3 turnovers for Alabama, and really no problem dealing with the pressure that their offense is putting on them by not being able to be efficient and put together sustainable drives. But Michigan defense having no problem with that pressure, and like I said, really stepped up.
I mean, this has to be a pass play, right? Alabama, struggled running the ball all game, 2.3 yards per carry. You got to pass it.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to your point, they have to pass. You can't run up 4th and 10. It really comes down to who wins in the trenches. Michigan is winning this game by pressuring because Milroe has not been accurate under pressure. They're lined up again, 2 receivers to each side. Michigan not able to get to him right away. Now in his face, throw. End zone short, incomplete. Turnover on downs. Michigan gets it with 49 seconds left and can kneel to end the game.
My God, Milroe had a lot of time without any pressure on him, but Michigan locked down the zone. Gorgeous coverage. And once again, the Wolverines are going to win a game on the back of their defense.
Definitely, and it's going to be their 3rd win against a top 12 team this season. Obviously just going to finish 8-5, but still a great way to end this season. And like they say, defense wins championships, and they've really stepped up today for the Wolverines.
So 1st and 10 at the 15, and Michigan in victory formation. Orji takes a knee. Alabama's got 1 timeout, but it really doesn't matter. It does not look like they're going to use it. So the Wolverines and Alex Orji will just have to kneel down 1 more time to put a bow on this.
I mean, can you believe what we've seen? Davis Warren leaves the game, a game-ending injury. Alex Orji steps in, and the Wolverines still find a way to win.
And 1 more kneel down. Alabama will not use the last timeout, and this game is over. Michigan defeating Alabama for the 2nd time this year. A final score of 19-13 in the 2024 ReliaQuest Bowl.
I don't believe what I've just seen.
Definitely not. And like you said, Owen, when Davis Warren went down in that third quarter, I was thinking, what is this Michigan offense going to do? They can't just run the ball every play, but it seems to have worked for them. A big 25-yard run from Jordan Marshall after they started in good field position at about the 35, and then a nice athletic play from Orji to get around a couple tackles and put Michigan into easy field goal range, allowed Dominic Zavada to get 3 points on the board, the only 3 points Michigan scored since the first quarter, but it did it for them. But obviously the Michigan defense really stood tall today and stepped up for their offense, who was struggling to put together drives.
And think about the implications here. Alabama has been whining for a week about being shunned from the playoff. They lose to an unranked Michigan team. 7-5 they finished their season. For the Wolverines, this not only reaffirms what we saw against Ohio State, that the Michigan defense can win massive football games, but gives them that extra boost as you look towards an exciting fresh new year in 2025. To go 2-0 against one of the all-time greats, of course Michigan, also a blue blood of college football, but 2-0 in the year 2024 against Alabama. You ride that breeze behind your back into 2025, win a game based on your defense. That's Big Ten football right there. In the trenches, the Wolverines make it happen where it needs to. They pick up the yardage where they need to, and on the back of a great kicker, they find 19 points, and it's enough against Alabama.
Yeah, Michigan's offense may have not gotten touchdowns out of all those takeaways they got in the first quarter, but those field goals turned out to be enough as Michigan wins its second straight shut out the Buckeyes in the second half. 19-13 against Alabama. Gave up just 3 points in the second half against an Alabama team that was playing at nearly full strength. Wolverines missing key pieces on both sides of the ball. The only reason I think this wasn't quite as stunning as the Ohio State game is because the Ohio State game showed that the Wolverines are capable of doing this.
Definitely, and this is exactly how Sharon Moore wants to end his first season as head coach. Obviously, I talked about it earlier, has faced some criticism for being a little too conservative, but that conservatism worked out well today. And the one time the Wolverines did try to do a forward pass with Alex Orji, it did end up in an interception, but it didn't matter. Orji came up clutch when they needed him, and they got that second half field goal, which really put them in a comfortable position, and defense stepped up as they have been all game.
Now, Zach, before you close, and I'm sure you guys will want to do this, just myself, this is all three of our last football game with WCBN, so a thank you to my family and friends and this beautiful club that has allowed us to travel the country covering the greatest team in the history of college football.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great opportunity, and it's just an honor to be here. I was saying to Owen, I'm just happy to be here, and it's been a great call, a fun game, and obviously not exactly what we expected coming into this game, but nonetheless a great way to end the season for the Wolverines. For Alabama, not so much, but still very positive.
Yeah, as both of you said, great ending to this Michigan season, and it may have been a struggle in the early going, but I can joyfully say that I've been on the call for 4 games now, and we've won all of them. Had a thrilling ending to the USC game, nice rivalry win against Michigan State, nice more comfortable win against Northwestern that ensured Michigan would be playing in a bowl game, because that wasn't even a guarantee until that game. And a great way to end the season now, and I'll just leave you both with a chance to say any last words before we sign off on our final football broadcast of 2024.
I don't have much to say, but again, it's been an honor to be here, and like I've said, so glad that we were able to come out to Tampa and cover this game for the Michigan Wolverines, and it's been a great game, a thrilling ending, and it came down to the wire, and of course, happy to be here, and thanks for calling this alongside me, guys. It's really been fun.
It's been great.
Alongside Owen Crain and Jonas Tomkin, I'm Zachary Linder saying thank you for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of the finale of the 2024 Michigan football season and the finale of all of our WCBN Sports football careers. For all of us, thank you for listening once again. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great new year. And as always, go blue.